What is going on, everybody? Welcome back. You have now tuned in once again to the JRR Wisdom channel. Once again, I appreciate you guys for tuning in. Thanks again. Don't hesitate right now. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, along with the bell. That way you receive all the notifications for all of my future videos that have content like this. Quit playing. And once again, we have the awesome, incredible, undescribable Princella, the Queenmaker. How are you doing this evening, Princella?
I'm fantastic, JR. I appreciate you inviting me back.
No worries. Pastor P. Shout out. I see the power players is in the building. Obviously, as usual, we had a few people drop off. It looks like it. As soon as I hit the button, it like everybody just came on.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but shout out to the power players in the building for y'all coming in. You know, this is once again, I'm just letting the folks know this is just a dialogue we're having. We're not this is no debate. So just take it easy like Sunday morning and shoplifting, like I always
Exactly.
say. So that's what we're gonna do. So as you guys have seen the topic, we're just gonna be discussing, how can men and women, especially in these modern times, effectively communicate? Because it seems to be, I know, one of the number one issues, especially outside of money, why many couples don't last, because of effective communication and one partner not listening to the other and things like that. So we're gonna chop it up. Me and Priscilla are gonna chop it up tonight and get her take on some things, because I know we had a dynamic conversation last time where she touched on some of this as well. So we're gonna unpack a few things, but before we do, a few housekeeping rules. Hit that like button. You guys see the ticker at the bottom. Make sure you subscribe to all platforms, especially Princella's if you haven't. Her Facebook, IG, she's on TikTok as well. I'm not on there, but y'all know y'all can just, I don't have it on there at the bottom screen, but you guys know where to find her as well on TikTok. So don't hesitate to do that. And, if you got any thoughts on, or you like to add or have questions, comment in the chat, or feel free to call in as well. We welcome any questions, comments, and things like that. But just keep it cordial at the end of the day. We don't need to get nasty in the comments and things like that. So anyway, I don't know if I asked you, Princella, how are you doing this evening? Maybe I did.
I'm fantastic. I couldn't be better.
Awesome.
I just bought a new car today.
You did? What kind of car you got?
I got a Toyota Camry XSE, fully loaded.
Fully loaded.
Yeah.
You got the sport package on it?
Yeah, I think I got the blackout package on it.
The blackout? I don't even know what that is. I used to be a Camry. I used to be team Camry. I don't even know what that is anymore.
Yeah. I've never driven a Toyota. It's just that I've been seeing them. I'm like, man, when I get my next car, I'm gonna get a Toyota. And then I've had this issue with my headlights on my Nissan Altima in 2014. They had a defect on them in the wiring and the harness, where the lights would just go dim. And so I can't see. And so I replaced the whole harness, and they worked for like 6 to 8 months.
Mm-hmm.
And then it did it again. And so now I got one headlight, all of my bright lights are out, and the other headlight out. So I'm rolling with one light, and I'm like, you know what? I'm not putting another dollar in on this harness thing. I'm gonna just go get another car. And I just walked in, car wasn't even there. And it arrived like 5 minutes
off the truck.
Right off the truck. Yeah. And I got it right then. Yeah.
So coming from a former car salesman, did you trade it in?
No, I kept my other car. I'm gonna end up fixing something on it, but
just drive it daytime.
Yes. Yeah, just drive it in the daytime.
Say less. Mm-hmm. You got another one. So shout out to you and your new car. I hope the Toyotas is dope. I don't never have no issues. They run forever, as you know. You got 2 Japanese cars now, so you already know what's going on with that, with the Honda. With the Nissan.
Yes.
So shout out to the power players once again in the building. We are pretty good. We already 4 minutes, almost 5 minutes in. Appreciate the support. So let's get right into it, Princella. Like I said, we addressed a few things last time in reference to this. In your experience, and I'm just going to start with your experience.
Okay.
What has been, with your relationships or just interactions with men that you've seen, maybe seen a pattern of, or men tend to get wrong in terms of communication?
No active listening. I believe males go into things with what they can get, and where it's centered around that I'm with a woman because she's supposed to do this, that for me. So only my concerns matter. And I'm smarter. I'm more intelligent. We are more logical and they're more emotional. So since they're more emotional beings, it's invalidated what they say because I'm more logical. It matters what I say. And since women are supposed to submit to men, it's what I want. So I don't want to hear anything that she has to say. And anything that she's saying is nagging. I process it as nagging, right?
Mm.
So, because of this, there will always be a disconnect. And one party is going to constantly, over and over, be overcompensating, trying to talk to a brick wall. Men do not get the picture until you walk away. And
Mm.
that's the fact. You
Okay.
can, as long as you're talking, they not listening and they don't care what you have to say. They always say it. They'll get out on platforms and tell you, we don't care, we don't care, we don't care, right? They keep telling you that. And you can talk and talk and talk and talk. And as long as you're talking, that's when they think that they still have you because it's the energy that you're giving them. The moment that you stop and you begin to walk away or disconnect, only then will he see that there's a problem because he ain't been listening to you, never was listening to you, and had no interest in listening to you. You cannot have an effective, you cannot have a good relationship that way, right? But
Right.
women, a man tells a woman, and she'll do everything in their power to do everything that you keep saying that you want. And a lot of guys move the goalposts. Should you do this? They
I
move the
like that
goalposts.
term. I like that
So,
term. Yeah. Go ahead.
yes,
Yeah.
so how people say they want stuff, that's what they mouth say, but their actions show you completely different. I don't listen to what people say because what people say is total BS. Their actions will tell you more than their mouth will ever tell you.
Don't tell you. Don't tell me you got to show me, baby.
Yeah, that's it. I'm
Yeah.
from the show me state.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I always say there's a from a man's standpoint there's a phrase that goes even when selecting women vote with their feet,
Mm-hmm.
which is among the same thing when we from my perspective in terms of a woman can tell you certain things, and this is outside of communication, but she can say certain things to you, but if the actions aren't congruent with what it is that she's saying, obviously we have an issue there. But I wanted to go back to what you said in terms of that stop talking part.
Yes.
I had an ex of mine say, as long as a woman is still communicating with you, is she still arguing with you, you know what I'm saying, you still good. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Because once she gets quiet and once she stops talking, either there's another dude or she's already out the door. She's kind of
Mm-hmm.
like, basically like, I'm done with you. What'd you say?
Mm-hmm.
Or if you trying to start or even say anything, she's just kind of like brushing you off, which definitely, like, some men can't take that. And I'm just gonna be honest from a man's perspective.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Whether you want to call that stonewalling or
Mm-hmm.
silent treatment and things like that, is
Mm-hmm.
definitely bothersome. You know what I'm saying? But that does tend to happen, I think, with a lot of people. What you said in terms of when somebody's going, that's when you want to act right.
Oh
But
man, when I was dealing with the millionaire that I was dealing with, he thought like I don't talk to males. Like I don't communicate. I'm not gonna talk to you. When I walked away from, because he thought he was the big dog on campus because you own a company
right.
and you can manipulate chicks that ain't got no sense. He tried that on me and I left him. I told her, I said, you gonna keep on around messing with me and I'm gonna show you better than I can tell you. I will
Mm,
leave you. Man, I cold turkey walked off. And here's the thing, that I'm something else. I
mm.
was working I was working for a company. I was working for his company, but they was in the same area.
Oh,
And
okay.
I quit him and went across the street and worked for his competitor right on the same lot. So he had to see me every day and I wasn't talking to him. Shh, let me tell you what that did to him, right? That bruised his ego like it wasn't nothing. And guess what he did?
What?
He came back writing me a check every month. right? Uh-huh. Yeah.
So Princella, is it in a case like that, right? And
Mm-hmm.
I'm just bringing up your specific case and anything else. Is something like that irreparable, or it just depends on what the person does?
Okay, well, what males don't get is that women, they do understand this is why they do it. They do get it. This is why they want women who are quote unquote submissive, because they want to be able to do and do and do over and over, and you just keep accepting it. And to, that proof comes in from the dude from Fresh and Fit. It went viral. What's your experience with dating younger women? Oh man, I just love it. The dude with the missing tooth in the back right here. Oh, I just love it. My experience been so great because dating younger, they don't have a lot of experience with relationships and they give you more grace. Wait a minute, what you mean they give you more grace? Oh, you looking for somebody to keep doing effed up stuff, and you know you doing it. And she lets you go with it. And so dudes will keep doing this over and over and over and over. And then to a point, it stops where she just tired, and then she walk. At that point, it's irreparable because she's no longer the person that she was before you started doing that.
Mm-hmm.
And it ain't never gonna change, right? It'll never go back to being the same. And
Right.
so there was a guy on TikTok, and he said, men, why we do this? We have a good woman, she everything that we want, and then it's just something in us that say take advantage, and we do it for no good reason. And it's the truth, because men always say this: a man will only do what you allow him to do. So they're
I mean,
looking
that's facts. Yeah,
right.
that's yeah,
So
without a doubt. Yeah.
so if you don't know the male nature and the male setup, right, and you've been taught to let the man lead and control, right, how can you put a governor on his behavior when you're programmed to let him do what he does, right? So there is a misconception, or there's a lot of confusion in the market because people are running on messed up programs that are anti-nature, right? So males get with women with no intentions on
Mhm.
actually being good partners with them. They don't even try. What they want is someone that they can manipulate and control. And if they can find somebody they can manipulate and control to get what they want, they try to see how far they can bend you. They want to see how far they can push you, right? You cannot have a quality relationship like that because males typically have no governor on their behavior. They depend on women to govern their behavior, and they depend on the government to do it. They're not going to do it. If you give them an inch, they'll take 27 miles. And women are thinking that they can be equal partners with men, that men are going to govern themselves, and it's just not the case. This is why they have the most jacked up relationships. Women don't understand that men cannot be talked to, that you have to show men and control men through no contact. You don't talk to men,
Oh
you
wow.
don't reason with them. You don't.
So you
They're
said is that, would you consider that a form of leverage? No contact.
It's not leverage. That's just the way it is. That's
Okay.
just reality. It's the same way you train a dog. Men always said, "Well, you got to train your man." Why I got to train you like a fucking dog?
I
Why?
don't think you got to train somebody, but you teach somebody how to treat you. That goes, and I
Just
hate to
training
say
them.
both ways, but you got to what you will and won't tolerate, and that's what a relationship is about. I mean, at the end of the day, what you're willing to put up with, and like you said, as you said earlier, somebody will only do what you allow them to. You know what I'm saying? What they can get away with it, and they're gonna keep doing it. But I feel like you go into any relationship or situation to give, as I always say. You know what I
But
mean?
men don't do that. They don't. And you can
I don't
you
agree with
you
that. I understand what you're saying, but I don't think that that's always.
well, how can you say that when the number one talking point from all males is, we don't care about your degrees. We want this. We want this. We want this from a woman. That's not a conversation focused on giving. That's a conversation focused on, I want you to be what I want you to be, and I don't care who you actually are. I want you to mold yourself, break yourself to win me. Fix yourself to be what I want. That's the number one conversation from men. When I approach relationships, it ain't about what that person can give me. It's I want a relationship with somebody because I want to add value to that person.
For
They,
sure, absolutely.
right. But
And
that's
you have to give something to do that.
right. But here's the thing. That's not what men are talking about. Let's keep it a buck. The conversation from men is we don't care, we don't care, we don't care. That's a fact. That ain't something I done pulled out. That's the number one talking point with Kevin Samuels. It then transferred over to Fresh and Fit. It's over there in Alpha Male Strategies. That's the number one conversation. No man is out there saying, I want to give this to a woman. I want to do this. I want to do. They're not, right? They're not. As a matter of fact, if they do, they would be called a simp. And
I'll
they
tell you
scared.
this, and I've been called a simp. I'm like one of the biggest simps on YouTube, right?
Mm-hmm.
I always tell a man, especially for my daughter, because I have daughters, right?
Mm-hmm.
They're not even adolescents yet, but I tell men all the time, and they call me a simp for saying, if you ever want to marry a woman, you must be able to put a roof over her head, provide for her and whatever kids you have. If she decides to work, if she wants to work, that's cool. But if she doesn't decide to work, you still need to be able to provide for all that.
Mm-hmm.
Provide for the entire household, because you're the cherisher, sustainer of this woman and your children. You are the man, you are the husband, you are that dude. And I was told that no, this all this 50-50 shit and stuff like that, and you're simping and all this. So I just think that there's men saying things that doesn't like that sounds cool for men that are broke. They want women to be submissive. They want women to do certain things. They want this, that, and the third. But from a perspective of what you're saying in terms of men giving, there are men out there that want to be what I just described to a woman, but I guess in return, this is what he's expecting from her. I know you mentioned some things earlier, we don't care about degrees and things like that, which is overwhelmingly that's something that said men don't really care about that. When men care about more of the, obviously sex is at the bottom. As you grow older,
No.
I think we discussed this before. That's at the bottom of the list. If you got a huge
that's
list,
the number one thing that's driving males. And the
what's
reason why that's because that's at the bottom of
they
Maslow's
don't they
hierarchy.
don't know what marriage is about. Then
Well,
they don't know what marriage and
well,
relationship
you
is
gotta
about.
realize that marriage is a human concept. That's a creation. That is
I know how you feel about it. Yeah, we talked
No,
about it.
it ain't about
Yeah.
feeling. That's a fact.
Right.
Humans created the concept of marriage. That is not a biological natural thing. That is a creation. That is an ideal. That is a economic creation, because only 3% of all animals are even monogamous, and humans ain't one of them. So marriage is a social construct, right? So when we talk about the biological nature
Okay.
of the male, the
That's
number one priority in the male is to pass his genes along.
Facts.
Sex. That's his number one. So that a male can exist in his lower nature and never rise to a point of self-actualizing.
You don't think a man can be monogamous though?
No, the majority of them can't. You know why? Because it requires self-discipline. See, what I want us to do is have a real logical and rational conversation.
For sure.
Not because I'm a woman that you have to tailor your conversation to put me in la la land to hope to find something that I know is virtually unrealistic.
Right.
I know men, I know how they're made, and we can just keep it a buck. 99% of men, if they had the opportunity, will not be monogamous because monogamy is not real. If you give a man an opportunity to have sex with 10 beautiful women, he ain't gonna bat an eye, married or not.
You questioning my love, Princella.
I ain't questioning nothing, JR.
You questioning my love.
That's just.
And I know you feel like men can't love. You questioning my love. You trying to say, this woman blow my socks off. She do everything for me. You think I'm about to step out with some woman?
Baby, that's self-control. And guess what? That requires the deep digging of willpower to govern and control your nature, which the majority of men ain't gonna do. They not gonna do it, right? Because you have to have willpower, right? So testosterone is too strong,
I agree.
right?
But you know,
To
our testosterone drops as we get older, though.
yeah, but
Yeah.
here's the thing: men, once men get older, even though they little thing ain't working no more, right? They start thinking about other needs. It ain't because they love a woman. They need somebody to take care of them because they finna go in the stroke ward now, right? They need somebody to wipe that little booty hole they got, right? Right? Hey man, JR, you ain't gonna be as handsome as you are always. As long
I'm
as you keep
always gonna look like
baby,
this, baby.
baby,
I don't
take
know what you're
care of
talking
yourself, right?
about. Yeah,
Because you might be a little, you might a little sweet thing at 6 to 8 now, all right? But
I will be.
right? But
Inshallah,
you
God
might be
willing.
on the bedpan. You might be a sweet thing on the bedpan. I'm just trying to tell you,
Take
right?
me out. If I ever get like that, take me out. Facts. I tell
but
people that all the time. But yeah, go ahead.
but
Yeah.
look, the reality is, hey, I'm a real person, man.
Hmm.
I don't sugarcoat nothing. I accept reality for what it is, and I know that the male cannot control himself. That's the reason why you have law and law enforcement. They can't, right? So if you give the male an opportunity, hey, JR, I promise you, if you go look on Google, you'll find me talking to Angry Man about 5 years
Not
ago.
angry, man. Yeah, go
Yeah,
ahead. Yeah.
yeah, Angry Man. Oh,
Shout out to the Duke.
listen, he on there over talking me like he ain't got no sense. You can't stop a man if he see a beautiful woman. Ain't no way he not gonna mess with her. I said so angry. I say angry man. So you mean to tell me you ain't got no self control that if you see a woman legs wide? No, we not gonna do it, right? So, so
I'm gonna give
how,
you an example when you're done. But yeah, I'm gonna give you an example.
right?
Yeah.
So here's the thing, Jr. I don't speak in terms of absolutes. Yeah, you can show me one dude. You can
Right.
show me a couple of them. Like I said,
You admitted that last time we was
yeah,
talking.
you got 10-year-olds who are in school to get their second PA, they masters, they only second masters, right? And we 30 ain't got no masters, and they on
Right.
their second one at 10,
Right.
right? You have those, right? You got a 7-year-old out there speaking 7 different languages fluently. Baby, you got your
Right.
exceptions to the rules,
Right.
right? So ain't no sense in showing me no exceptions to the rule because I showed you the standard deviation curve. Baby, in any sample population, 68.2% of the people gonna be in the median. The
Hmm.
majority of the people,
Yeah.
right? Okay. And the majority of people 68.2 and below, average and below, right?
Hmm.
So you don't have, it ain't nothing to prove to me because I don't speak in absolutes. I speak in terms of majority and percentages. And the majority of men, the overwhelming majority of males, cannot control themselves. And they will, if given the opportunity, sleep with multiple women. They will.
I'm gonna keep it funky with you. Based
Yeah.
off that conversation you just said you had with Angry Man, right?
Mm-hmm.
That question was brought up to me, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I'll say, I don't know how that conversation came up, but I'm like, if a woman showed up to, and I had a conversation, this was with one of my exes, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or an ex, excuse me. I don't want to say it like that to get you guys, have you guys having the wrong idea. Um, the conversation went this way, and I was like, yo, if a woman showed up to my door, rang the doorbell, which this is a situation that's far fetched.
Mm-hmm.
She showed up, like Robin Givens on Boomerang with Eddie Murphy when she showed up with the trench coat and all that, and was ready to go and things like that. Yeah, as a man, and I had to explain it. Yeah, I'd probably do that. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And this is not to like say that we're on this type of time, but if it came to that, and I'm like, this woman's gorgeous, nobody's here, I was like, yeah, that would be the situation, but that situation is far fetched.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
But in general, if I find myself in love with a woman and I'm like anything, which I guess is this exception, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. Exception.
You know, and anything I couldn't imagine or fathom losing this woman because I've been with for example, I've been with several women and they don't match up anywhere to her. I've been on a journey. I've been on this path for all this time and I haven't encountered anyone like her. So I'm gonna
Mm-hmm.
just fuck some bitch that I pardon my
Some a,
pardon my Spanish.
a lot of men do.
I
They do.
mean,
Because they feel like a woman would never go anywhere, because we are, like we said at the beginning, a dude will, they looking for women because they know that a woman will take and take and take and take and take and take and take until one day she break. She don't just quit. Like me, I'm the type of person, baby, I don't have a lot of give. Baby, when I'm through with you, I am through. And that's very soon. It's not going to be years. It's not going to be months. Baby, we talking about weeks, baby. Let me see.
right.
Let
Let
me
me see
see.
something.
I'm
Yeah.
gonna quit you quick, right? The majority of women don't operate like that because they give males excuse after excuse after excuse after excuse.
Why do you
And
think
men,
that is? What's
be,
the reasoning behind that? Why
because,
they give
be,
men so much grace?
because of societal programming, right?
There's not
That
low
the
self-esteem or scarcity mindset.
sometimes it is, but let's go into the pro-black community, right?
Okay.
What is the thing? The white man been keeping us down, and the black man is this, that, and the other one. So women have been programmed to believe that there is some actual attack on black men, that we got to save our men, right? And
Mm,
it's just a program. If we just help him, if we just stick right, we can make him better, right? It's different programs that are running because women don't know men. They don't. Society, patriarchy has made the woman believe that she's equal to the man. How? How did she believe that she was equal to the man?
I'm listening.
Simple,
I like this. I need
right?
to hear you preach. Go. Let me hear this. Go ahead.
Simple, simple.
Yeah.
Because patriarchy said that the male is the leader and the head of the household, and that the woman was behind him. So this gave the male free reign to do whatever. Because see, you can't stop a person from behind, right? They got free reign. You can only stop a person when you put a glass ceiling. You can only stop a person with a glass ceiling.
Right.
Patriarchy took the glass ceiling away and put the glass ceiling as the floor, which gave the male free reign to do whatever he wanted to do, right? But the woman was blinded to the male nature because they told the woman that the male is the head of the household. So when they did that, they stripped women of their rights to provide for themselves and to use their masculine energy, right? To do, because masculine energy ain't nothing about but action and work ethic and willpower. That's what that is. We all have masculine and feminine energy inside of us, right? So to do, to act, and to conjure up willpower, that's masculine. That's masculinity. They took that away from her and made her depend on the male for her resources. So when the laws were removed, to the woman, it looked like she was catching up to be equal to the male. But because males know themselves and what drives them to women, from his perspective, she's moving backwards. But from her perspective, she's moving forward. And
Mm,
so she thinks she's being equal to him when she doesn't realize that she's actually in front of him and she's moving backwards. So she's not acting as if she's in the position that she is naturally born in, which is in front of him, because men pursue women. It's this way. It's not this way, right?
right.
So that's what patriarchy did. And so because of this, because males are not being quote unquote leaders like they were programmed to believe that they were, women think it's a program that's wrong with the male. So she's giving him grace because she thinks it's something that the government did to mess up the male's mind. She doesn't realize that he's actually operating in his nature with no governor. So if she knew that, she would not give him the grace of trying to figure it out if she knew her true position on this planet. She don't know her true position. She thinks she back here when she's really up here.
What's her true position,
Her
Princella?
true position is the head of the male. The male was never supposed to be the head of the household because the male doesn't even have it in his brain to govern his behavior. I promise you, Farrakhan said out of his own mouth, even though he didn't appreciate the women on BET when he was watching the TV, shaking they behind, that he couldn't turn off the TV. He couldn't change the channel. So he just sat there and watched it. Wait a minute. You mean to tell me you don't have a governor on your own behavior?
Let me interject right now since you brought up Farrakhan. Yeah. And I know you used to be in NOI, I'm assuming, once upon a time from what you said last time.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if NOI does Salah. Maybe you can tell me, did y'all used to do Salah?
Okay. Not that I know of.
So in Islam, you do what's called prayer in the mosque or the masjid. It's called Salah, right? And it's 5 times a day, as you know. In the church, you know, you have prayer or whatever, and in church you wear whatever. And you go into church, you like sometimes, and I haven't been recently, but I know when I have gone, it looks like you're in a club. Even you can see on TV, but I'm gonna get away from that point. Farrakhan said that as well, but he's also like in Salah, there's a reason why, and this goes back to what you're saying, which I'm not negating anything you're saying. The nature of a man is strong. Elijah Muhammad said that. You know, the nature of a man is strong. I'm talking about this. In the Quran, it says, if you go near adultery, you will commit it. So don't go near it. This is the words of God in the Quran, right? So Farrakhan, with him saying that, you can't turn away. That's why men and women in Islam are separated, right? During prayer. Because, you know, in Salah, you prostrate.
You got to bend over, right? Yeah, you got to bend over. And men will be looking at it.
If you got some buns in your face,
right?
How can, like my brother told me one time in the mosque, he said, how can I pray with a heart on? Right? So there's a reason why things are done that way. So when Farrakhan say that, that's kind of like what he's getting at. And I know they separated different, that they're side by side as opposed to the women in the back. But like he was saying also, you know, you got an ass shaking contest. Why don't we have a brain shaking contest?
I know, but he couldn't turn. He don't have no governor on his own behavior, so he couldn't even turn the TV. He couldn't pick up the remote. What I'm talking about is the inability of the male to control himself.
Who was he hurting though?
No, it ain't about that. It's about the male being in the wrong position, because you put the male in the position of head of the household or the leader when he needs something or somebody to control his behavior. So now you've given the male free reign in his natural governor, which is the woman. You put her behind him, right? Through patriarchal philosophy, the male needs the woman to govern his behavior. He needs the government or the police to govern his behavior because he's not going to do it himself. So if you give a male a Lamborghini with 210 on the dash and put him on the Autobahn, what is he going to do? He's going to push the pedal to the metal and try to push it all the way to 210. That's what he's going to do. That's the nature of the male. So this person does not need to be in front. He needs to be underneath a governor. And the natural governor has always been women. And the reason why women are tolerating as much as they're tolerating is because they have been brainwashed to think that the male is the natural leader, and they think that there is a psychological program that is causing him to act the way he's acting, and they don't realize he's acting in his ungoverned nature with no control and no governor. And women need to take their position back so that because if a man, if you don't, what do they say? Well, did you make him wear a condom? So he's not going to wear a condom. She got to make him wear a condom. So he's on child support because she didn't make him wear a condom.
100.
You can't make yourself wear a condom because the male is right. So let's just be honest. The male needs a governor, and they took the natural governor and put her under his feet.
I'm entering in your womb, Princella. I can either keep the hat on and come inside, I can take the hat off and come inside.
Okay,
You
but
know,
if she
you're
got
telling me to
HIV,
take the hat
listen,
off.
if
Hey,
she has HIV and her whole intent is to get pregnant to put you in a financial position, whose responsibility is it to protect themselves from that
that's true
outcome?
in terms
Right?
of
So
that.
we always think that it's the woman that's getting the short end of the stick. So it's your responsibility to make me wear a condom.
I definitely don't say man. Any man who shoots up a club, it's definitely your responsibility to be
Right, but
that
he
woman.
ain't gonna do it because he has no governor on his behavior. And the whole thing out here is women are the ones, they need to take responsibility. They need to take responsibility. But the male is not even told about taking responsibility, that you need to protect yourself. They don't think that they have to protect themselves. They want women to protect themselves and them. The male believes that it's the woman's job to protect herself and to protect him. Baby, it ain't her responsibility to protect you from child support. If you stupid enough to go and get yourself on child support, knowing that child support been out here for
I
umpteen
agree.
years,
I
then
agree.
I don't want to hear your woes. I don't care. Why
I
don't you
agree.
back off? I hope JR, I'm gonna
I
tell you
agree.
right now. I don't care if they dick fall off, JR. I don't care. I don't care. Because what I'm doing is putting the woman back in the position that she was supposed to. And in that position, she is to deny males sex unless they level up to a point. And the majority of these dudes, pee-wees, gonna fall slap off, because it ain't gonna just fall off, it's gonna break off, because it's gonna be so hard and they can't relieve it, and it's gonna accidentally knock up against something, and it's gonna be so hard it's just gonna break off. That's what's gonna happen. I'm
Let me
saying.
let me ask you this, Princess, because I know we addressed this. Goodness, that's you got to have a shot to do that. You know what I'm saying? I think that honey that these dudes, that royal honey these dudes be taking.
Right.
Let me ask you this. So I know we addressed this last time. You're not looking.
No, no.
Everybody who's watching now, Princella's not looking.
I ain't looking because
But
I got a girlfriend. That's right. I got a girlfriend. All right. I ain't messing with you dudes no more. You too much of a
yeah, I
clown.
know you said that last time. You know what I'm saying? You said you know you need a girlfriend like the dudes was telling you. You need a girl, right? Let's
Hmm.
say the ascended Princella, the Queenmaker. You got a smooth dude like myself. You know what I'm saying? He comes in the picture. He's hitting all the notes. He's checking all the blocks and things like that. What would be, based off what you just said in terms of where you see the woman, what would be the proper paradigm in the family dynamic
What do you
with
mean?
him entering into a situation with you in terms of everything you just said? How would you see the proper family dynamic with relation if he wants to start a family with you? And I'm not saying, if you don't want to have any more kids, that's cool. But I'm just saying hypothetically, I'm just putting this out there just to ask you from your perspective based upon your beliefs with you
If
saying
you
that.
if a guy is to enter into a relationship with me, first and foremost, I'm not doing slave labor. I'm an outsource. I'm
What's
smart.
slave?
Slave
Now?
labor.
What do you consider slave? What do
Slave
you?
labor is me working, cooking, cleaning every day, doing hourly labor, and not utilizing my skills and my talents to create something more for myself. I am going to outsource, because remember, I'm polygynous. My mentality is
Right,
polygynous, right?
right.
So we actually operate in a polygynous setup anyway, because guess who the daycares are run by? Women.
Oh,
Guess who
outsource.
are the
Yeah,
majority?
I'm
Guess
in
who?
agreement with you. Yeah, everything's
Majority of the
outsourced.
maids are
Yeah,
female. So it's
yeah.
like this. I'm outsourcing. Now that I'm outsourcing, I'm only dealing with a male who is capable of thinking, right? Because I'm freeing up my time so that I can do other things. I'm getting a nanny, I'm getting a tutor, I'm getting a chef. I'm paying for all that. I'm not
What
doing
do
none of
they
that.
call it? Au pair? What do they call it?
Yeah.
Au pair. Yeah, go
Yeah,
ahead. Go
I'm
ahead.
not doing none of that. So that means you can't say, well, I'm taking care of you. No, no, no. We got to have something else. We have to really be compatible now, because see, now you can't put me in a position where I need you, because I can outsource all this. I'm not playing a peasant. I'm not a peasant. I'm a queen. And queens make moves. I'm paying for all that shit. So now, what kind of business can me and you do? Okay,
Okay.
where we can grow more. But I'm not just doing no business with anybody. Do we get along? Are we compatible?
I
Can
already
you?
checked. I
Yeah,
already checked. I
yeah. You
already checked
checked
those
all.
blocks.
So you checked all that.
Yeah.
Okay. We outsourcing everything.
Okay.
Me and you are lovers, and we finna grow beyond imagine because we got the money, right? We have the help. Let's use our creative faculties to create more for ourselves.
Mm.
Period. I'm not doing slave labor. I don't care what and I'm not stroking a man's ego, baby. You got to be fully, you have to be
You
fully.
rubbing my back and telling me I'm
Oh
sexy
no,
now.
I'm gonna do that because
Okay, just
if if
checking. All
if
right.
if we are in it, baby, we got all the time
Okay.
in the world to do that because now it's organic. It's not forced. I don't need you. You don't need me. We're together because we want to be, not because we have to be.
Mm.
That's where we need to be. Men are so low in themselves. They know that a woman ain't gonna want them just because they ain't shit. So they need a woman to need them so they can have. Hey, that's why they don't like women who actually like are independent because now you got to be more than just I got money. You can go work. I mean, you can stay at home. I don't want to stay at home. I'm not a stay-at-home person. I'm a go-getter. I'm a creator. I'm not doing slave labor. Right? I like you? Are you a person that we can talk to? Can me and you make love and not screw? I don't want to screw. I want to have passionate love making sessions. Can you listen to my body?
Say
Can
less.
you listen? Yeah. You can't do that, then I don't want nothing to do with you. Period.
Right. Man. So that whole this is I hear you because I know you were talking about more of a matriarchy earlier.
Mm-hmm.
So this is what I hear you describing is like a symbiosis, you know, a symbiotic relationship. And I know that's one is like a leech, and I hate to use the symbiotic, but we're just, you know, building together. Like you said, I don't need you, you don't need me, but we want to be together
Right.
because of this. So would there be a matriarchy or patriarchy existing in this dynamic that you're
No,
describing?
because see, a matriarchy is more set up where people play the roles that they are most capable of operating in.
Okay.
See, patriarchy puts a male in a position that he's just not capable of being in. Matriarchy actually allows the male to operate at his capacity and they don't judge him for it, right? Right? You know what I'm saying? So the thing is, people haven't looked so much into matriarchy because males are about power and control. Women are not, right? Men don't listen, women do, right? And the male in a matriarchal setup can operate at his optimal capacity and not be stressed. The reason why males are stressed is because patriarchy has inflated the world with more males and more competition, right? That they can't level up to. There's not a lot for them to do unless they create it on their own, and they need people to create for them to tell them what to do. The male not being told what to do will never figure it out. The majority of them won't. So patriarchy is the number one cause for the male's woes. It's the cause for his psychological dysfunction. It is the cause for his depression. It is the cause for all of that because they put him in a position that he was not capable of operating or functioning in. Had we still been a matriarchal society, the male would have purpose. And there wouldn't be so many males for him to compete with because a woman wouldn't allow herself to get pregnant for 13 years straight and booming the population with more and more people to compete against and less things for them to do. Right? So I'm all about equity, not equality, because men and women are not equal. They've never been equal. It's all about equity.
Equity, not equality.
Correct.
Sheesh. Yo, real quick, because I see we got a few callers here. I'm gonna ask you this question here. We got a couple callers here. I see one of the I know she got high energy. She turned up from Sacktown. You know, and she gonna come in here with some energy for sure.
Yeah.
Y'all stand by here. I'm gonna about to ask Princella this question here, and I'm gonna start bringing you guys on. But before we do, because we haven't, how many likes we got up in here? Because we got over 200 people in here. Y'all here for the Queenmaker here tonight. 77 likes. Y'all being stingy. Stop being stingy. Hit the like. It's 200 and something people in here. There should be 200 and something likes. Quit playing. Go ahead and subscribe to Princella's channel. You know what I'm saying? It's in the title. Just click on it. Hit subscribe. Right now, y'all see the banner, not the banner, but the little tick going through the bottom. Make sure y'all follow her on all those as well. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. Also, comment right now where you guys are checking in from. Age, sex, gender, location, whatever have you. Let's hear where you guys are checking in from tonight, and let's get back to it. Appreciate you guys in advance. Quit playing, stop being stingy. Princella, so I got a question, right?
Yes.
Since we're talking about communication,
Mm-hmm.
do you think it's possible? Because I don't believe in arguing. I think I told you this last time when you were here. I
Mm-hmm.
don't believe in argument. I'm not about to argue with you. I'm not about to argue with another man.
Right.
That matter. Do you think it's possible, just in general, to have a relationship without ever arguing?
It is possible, yes. When you understand, like, people don't understand what love is. And people say it takes more than love to be in a relationship. Actually, the only thing that's needed is love for a relationship to flourish.
Okay.
And the reason why people don't know that is because they really don't know what love is. But the 5 components of love, if you
Go
know
ahead.
what the 5 components of love are, all you need is these 5 components, and you operate in this, and everything else will take care of itself. Because once you get to a frequency of love, baby, you are at a place of acceptance. You accept human nature for what it is. You accept human beings for who they are. You understand that everybody has a different life path and different challenges that they must face in this life.
For sure.
Right? I'm into astrology. I'm into numerology. I'm into all of that.
I
Right?
heard you say the frequency of love. I was about to
So,
go into. Well, go ahead.
so
Yeah.
how can I know all this and then try to make a person bend to my will? Right? If 2 people are operating on the frequency of love and acceptance, there is no way on earth that they could not have a flourishing relationship, because the first component of love is to seek first understanding, and then ye be understood. If 2 people are seeking to understand the other person and they are diving deep into understanding who that person is all the way to their core, and they accept what they find, there is no way on earth that the communication would not flow. All you need is love. But the majority of people have no earthly idea what love is. None.
Let me ask you this, Princella. Are you talking about are you familiar with power versus force?
No, but I'm pretty sure that most of whatever I preach has that included,
So
because
David Hawkins, when you said the frequency of love and then you said acceptance, you said that also. So David Hawkins, he has a book called Power versus Force, where there's actually a chart that he created of levels of consciousness, levels of frequency, levels of vibration, that goes up all the way from, like, depression or basically anguish, all the way to enlightenment, which is Christ consciousness. So when you say the frequency of love, that's why I was like, I wonder if she's quoting that chart. Yeah, because
Nope,
that's
I've
all
never
that.
read it.
Yeah.
I don't know the chart, but I can tell you this, because nobody created the truth. People discovered the truth, and people who discover the truth find the exact same thing. We all find the same things, right? And you only find it when you work on yourself, when you spend time with yourself and you observe this life and this reality. All you need is love. But 99.9% of the people on planet Earth have absolutely no earthly idea what love is. They don't know. And this is the reason why I have the book that I wrote called The 5 Components of Love, to show you what makes up love and how it rhythms. The majority of people are not operating on a frequency of love. But
Right.
2 people who are operating on the frequency of love, there is no way on earth that they would not have effective communication. There is no way on earth that they would not have a flourishing relationship. But I can tell you that on Maslow's hierarchy of human needs, where self-actualization is, there is another level. And that level is transcendence.
Mm-hmm.
And that is the level of love. The
Yeah.
majority of people are not at the top of the pyramid. The majority of people are in the survival
Yeah.
portion of the pyramid.
Right.
The majority of people have no earthly idea of what love is, and they do not have a desire to learn, to grow, and to elevate. Right. And so where I am is I operate on the frequency of love. I'm in pure acceptance. I understand and I have a massive amount of compassion for people and this
Mm-hmm.
planet. It's not just people, but the entire planet.
Right.
I'm talking about the animals, the plants, the bees, the water, the deepest of the ocean. That's where I'm at. And I will do anything and I will say whatever I have to say to add to cleaning up this entire planet. I'm beyond just male and female relationships, but I know that the systems of this world or this planet has thrown off all of the foundations of this earth. And in Psalms 82 and 5,
Oh.
Psalms 82:5 says, deliver the poor and the fatherless, rid them out of the hands of the wicked. They go on in darkness, right? They go on in darkness. All the foundations of the earth are out of course, right? They know not, and neither will they understand. All the foundations of the earth are out of course. They're out of course because patriarchy is anti-nature.
Mm-hmm.
And giving the male free reign to operate when his number one priority is sex and passing his genes along. When you give him free reign to operate at his most important desire, he will continue to go with no governor. And this is how, when they created the human experiment, the human universe 25 experiment, this is how men were knocking up. It was one dude, it was one woman, her husband knocked her up with 13 kids. He won't stop. And then what did they say? They don't know how to stop having kids. Since they don't know how to stop having kids, the man just up and leave. His number one priority is having sex. There has to be a governor on that. And the woman is the natural governor.
Mm.
But they put her underneath his feet. So she can't effectively govern his behavior because she doesn't know where she stands on this planet. She is the head of the household. She
Right.
is the head of the planet. And my job is to make sure the woman gets back here. Because if you keep the male here, you're going to continue to destroy everything that the creator has made.
Mm. Dope. I agree. Yeah. The woman controls as long as men shooting clubs up, they're gonna keep doing it like you said, so definitely. But yeah, with that being said, let's go ahead and bring on the first caller. You know what I'm saying? Because I know we can rap about this first. So we got the Passport Broski here. Talk to me, Passport Broski. You still there?
Yeah, I'm here. I ain't got no camera right now. I'm on a desktop. I'm working on that.
You good? Where you calling in from?
I'm calling in from Maryland for real.
Shout out to Merlin. You know what I'm saying? What you got for the Queenmaker tonight?
All right. My first question is, are you in a relationship? I didn't hear.
I have a girlfriend, yes.
Okay. So we're talking about how we can't live in a patriarchy because we need a female governor, right?
Yes.
So how does that work in your relationships? Considering that both of you would be the governor, right?
Okay. Ask your question in a different way so that I can understand, because I'm not quite understanding what you're asking me.
So when two women are dating, because we were talking about the patriarchy and how women need to govern men in nowadays relationships, right?
Mm-hmm.
When it comes to lesbian relationships, how do you guys balance the governing? How does that work? Because I think everybody has disagreements, right? Like whether you're in a lesbian relationship or bi or straight, you're going to have your differences. So how do you decide who is going to be the real governor in your relationship?
There is no governor here, because when you operate on the frequency of love, there's mutual understanding and mutual communication. There is no I'm above you and you beneath me, you listen to me. That don't exist. That only exists in the mind of the male. The male is the one that needs somebody to be under him, and that only y'all think like that, right? And it does not, y'all don't have a concept of communion. And the reason that you don't have a concept of communion is because you all were not designed to be communal. You were designed to be competitors, because your ultimate objective is to get past your genes into another body. So in order to do that, you have to compete against other men. So you all are wired for competition. That is not the nature of a woman. The nature of a woman is communal. So y'all cannot fathom in your mind no hierarchy. It just evades you.
So for me, it kind of puts. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. I was just saying that y'all think that it has to be something like that, but it don't.
I kind of feel like that puts men in a box, right? Like, I'm sure. Okay, so nowadays, I don't mind the 50-50 thing and things of that nature, but how come it seems like it's like we're all getting painted with one brush? You know what I'm saying? So when you say like we're not wired to do something, I kind of feel like for me that's not true. I was raised up by a single mother, you know, so I have a lot of traits around me that shows me the light.
There's exceptions though, but yeah, go ahead, bro. Yeah,
right. So for the people that are I mean, at the end of the day, I kind of feel like people are going to find who they belong to be with, right? Whether if you're a Pookie or a Ray Ray, you might find a girl that's in the hood that's going to accept you and have your kids and still be with you through the thick and thin. But for us that are actually knowledgeable and can understand how me and you, like you said, like you have to work on a different frequency. Not a lot of people have the capacity, like you said, to even know what true love is. Mm-hmm. And you can't force that on them either. So maybe we're on a different level to where we probably should be talking to the niche of people that we connect with intellectually, you know what I mean? So that way we can show those people the right steps to take. Instead of trying to force any Pookie or Ray Ray, I feel like our best interest is to focus on our best interest, if that makes sense.
So can I ask you this question? All right, because I listen to people, right? And I am naturally gifted at human psychology and human behavior. This is just something I'm wired for. And I listen to you. Now, every male thinks that he's the exception to the rule. But what let me know that you're not the exception to the rule that you profess yourself to be is you came right out the gate with the question. Well, what's the hierarchy? What is if you are the exception, that would not have needed to be a question. You would understand that there is no need for competition, that there is no governor between, that you can literally sit down, right? Nobody has to be the head of anybody, that we can commune and we can have a mutual understanding. But you came in and right out the gate, well, who is the governor in that situation? There is no governor. So you're not the exception, because you have the same thinking patterns as the average male, because you all are wired that way. And it's okay. It's okay. It's not a bad thing. It only becomes bad when we try to pretend that people are something that they're not. The men are competitors. Men are territorial. That's a fact, right? So we have to accept that this is your nature. You will never understand the makeup of a woman.
Well, that doesn't make sense, because you're basically telling me that I can't ask you a question because I have to figure it out, right? Anybody that has to figure something out, they have to ask someone a question. Like I might not be on your level of expertise on this, so I'm gonna ask you, okay, well, in your specific situation, how does it work? I'm not trying to be patriarchal about it. I'm just really trying to pose a question to understand. See, I think we're conflating the two things of like, oh, he's being patriarchal because he's asking the question. But really, I have to come to an understanding, whether you have, even when you're in a relationship, you're going to bicker. I don't care what nobody says, whether you're a lesbian or straight, even if at your highest peak of your energy, your frequency, at some point, you're going to be to the point where maybe her frequency is a little lower. You know what I mean? And maybe you have to pick her up, but you can't be mad at her for asking a question that poses something that's pretty much against what you're saying. You feel me?
No,
So
that's what I'm saying. Again, the question, if you understand, if you have a different thinking pattern, is real simple. Yes, you have ups and downs, right? And you understand that strength can take turns. At the end of the day, it's about mutual understanding, right? I mean, companies teach this. They have to put this, but where did they learn it from? They took all of this stuff from the nature of a woman. Everything that companies teach, all of the leadership books, they took all of this stuff from the nature of a woman. Right.
Okay.
So what I'm saying is this, and I'm gonna let you talk. I'm not gonna monopolize the conversation, but what I'm saying is this: if you're listening to me, right, I'm telling you all of everything that you need to know. As people in mutual dealings, the first component of love is to seek first understanding. If two people are operating on that frequency, they're both going to do the same thing. They're both going to seek first understanding. The only way that's not going to happen is when two people are not operating on the frequency of love, and then you get into this thing where who is dominant, who leading, who the one that's governing. That don't exist. But the majority of males think that way because it's in their nature. That's what I'm saying. So if you're going to say publicly that you are the exception to the rule, what I'm looking for you to do is not talk like the average male. The average male thinks that way. In order for you to be exception to the rule, you have to have a thinking pattern that is opposite of the average or the majority. That's what I'm saying. You can't sound like them, because then you all sound the same.
That's my thing though. Like all I did was ask you a question. I have to learn to, you're saying it's wired, right? So you're saying it's impossible for me to change the way I'm wired? Or can I learn? Because that's why I even asked you the question in general. I need to know, okay, well, maybe I'm doing this wrong. Maybe I'm doing this wrong. So I'm going to ask you. But you're saying me asking is also me being a part of the patriarchy that I pretty much don't have any control
No,
of.
it's not that. It's the fact that you said that you were the exception to the rule. So once you said that, right? Once you said that okay, that means you're not thinking like the average. That means that question would have never been asked, because you would have already known, because I already said it. But instead, you said that you were the exception to the rule. Like the majority of males that I talk to, all of them the exception to the rule. Every male that comes, all males are the exception to the rule. You let them tell it, right? So in order for you to actually be the exception to the rule without you saying it, that means you would have to demonstrate it in your thinking pattern. And you would not have asked that question had you already been on the thinking pattern.
Okay, even I could care. Even if I ain't the exception to the rule, right? Let's say I'm not.
Okay, that's fine.
Okay, so let's take that out of the equation, right? So I understand that. I'm just trying to figure out, what can men do? I think this will be my last question. I don't want to hold up the line or nothing. Mm-hmm. What can men do, just men specifically, do to help communicate effectively? I think that's what the topic was in general. What can we do specifically for us men that aren't the exception?
Okay. Do you have? Because I don't like to tell. Like when I teach people, and I appreciate you asking me this. When I teach people, I don't like to tell them what to do. I like to lead them and let them tell themselves, right? I like for them to convince themselves to see what I already see. So what I want you to do is I want you to Google active listening, and I want you to tell me what it says.
Oh, right now? Okay, what's
Yes.
that?
Nice exercise right here. Yeah.
Let's see. All right, so active listening is a practice of preparing to listen. Observe what verbal and nonverbal messages are being sent, and then providing appropriate feedback for the sake of showing attentiveness to the message being presented.
Mm-hmm. Yes. So appropriate feedback is not me telling you that I'm not feeling well today and I don't cook. And you say, well, I've been working all day and you should have food cooked. That's not, one, that's not active listening. And two, that ain't appropriate feedback. Appropriate feedback, when I tell you something, is okay, all right, I understand. Can you tell me where you're hurting? I understand you get tired too. So don't worry about it. I'll order takeout.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
That's
that's some
active
real.
listening. That's active listening, and that's appropriate feedback. And a woman would feel appreciated and cared for if you responded that way, instead of responding with a sense of entitlement that I'm the man and you supposed to be cooking and I went to work all day, as if she ain't did nothing.
That's like that Rosie Perez on White Men Can't Jump. What she told a buddy, exactly what you said. But yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. No, yeah, was it? This is great. So what was your book name again?
It's called The 5 Components of Love.
All right, I'm gonna write that down. All right, man. Thank y'all for having me. I'd like to call in again. I'm gonna do some research and I'm gonna look into it myself. Mm-hmm. And yeah, man, I love watching you, JR, bro. I watched a couple of your videos. I'm making videos responding to your passport situation, but I'm gonna let y'all go ahead. Thank you, Queenmaker. I appreciate your conversation too, man. I got some more questions coming for you in the future too.
All right, thank you. I appreciate it.
Shout out
All
to
right,
you.
Have a good time,
Broski, man. Shout out to that brother right there. Always, it's always good to learn, man. He who hates knowledge loves death. So definitely I'm gonna kick you up out of here, man, just to make some room. You know what I mean? Very, very diplomatic. Bro sound like he was genuinely trying to learn. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And Princella, Princella's nice for y'all fellas. She ain't got turned up or nothing. So it was all good. That was a nice discourse just now for sure. I think before I bring the next caller in here, like, you mentioned something which made me think about, like, in terms of active listening, effective communication, and that example you gave about, you need to get on them, you need to get on that stove and whip something up real quick. You know what I'm saying? I think a lot of that, and I hate because people throw this term around a lot, and I don't think they know what it is empathy. Mm-hmm. You kind of talked about earlier in terms of the world, not just a certain people,
right?
But you feeling this way towards people worldwide, and I think that that's a trait that some people do lack in terms of that, and they do see, like, they may see the significant other as a servant to a certain extent, and they don't have empathy. Or a term that someone taught me recently, I just learned this. It's called altruism.
Yes.
I never heard. I'm gonna turn that into a t-shirt, you know what I'm saying, here shortly. Just having that concept of altruism, which I think is very important, which is obviously different from empathy, because I was like, how is this different from empathy? You know what I mean? So I think that that's definitely what you gave is the example. I don't know if you remember that scene I'm talking about. I know you only a few years younger than me. On White Men Can't Jump, when old girl was in bed and she was like, I need a glass of water, I need a cup of water or whatever.
Exactly, yeah. And he went and got the water. And
he was like, what are you talking about? You said you was thirsty, I got you some water. Or whatever. Then she went and said that. So it's things like that I think we can sit back and take a moment and have that not so much empathy, but I think there's a lack of putting ourselves in other people's position. And we can say, okay, I'm assuming a role as the man, in this situation or whatever, or how is she feeling if she has been doing all these things in the day? You know what
Right.
I'm saying? I'm not, I'm not going to contribute to certain things. I'm going to come home and sit on my, which I don't agree with too, either. In the prophet, which I'm going to go back to that again. He helped wash clothes. He helped do chores. He helped do all these things around the house, but he was still the prophet of God at the end of the day. But he still did this with all his wives. You know what I mean?
Right.
He wasn't just the man that came home and say, "Where's my food at?"
Right.
I need sex right now. Food needs to be done. He sold clothes up, all that stuff. You know what I
Right.
mean? So it's certain things, man, that I think that it can be learned. Some men aren't taught. Some men aren't. I think Buddy mentioned that he was raised by a single mother. Not saying anything in particular, because I was raised by a single mother. But
Right.
I think there's certain things that throughout relationships, as you know, because you're on the spiritual frequency,
Mm-hmm.
the people you engage with, you ascend over time
Right.
based off of people, and they teaching you, how to treat them, and you learn certain things about the opposite gender or whoever gender you tend to favor in terms of attraction that's
Mm-hmm.
dominant, that it makes you a better communicator. But if you're completely shutting it out and closing your ears,
Mm-hmm.
you know what I'm saying? And
Because
that's why
because what
I'm
we're
reading.
talking about with that requires a level of self-control and discipline,
Right.
which requires the conjuring up of willpower. The male testosterone is so active, makes you guys so active that it becomes like a mountain to try to just control yourself. So when you're asking a male to control yourself sexually, be more empathetic, or control yourself on responding and listening, you're asking this guy to do a million things because males are incapable of multitasking. So you're asking the male to multitask and use willpower to control his sex drive, to control his desire to be aggressive, to control his listening and everything. This becomes a mountain for this guy to conquer, and it's so hard that the majority of them just don't even try.
Thanks for saying majority. I appreciate you, Princella. Thanks for saying majority.
Yeah, but here's the thing.
So,
The majority is the population that a lot of women gonna be dealing with. So, like, I don't say anything. Like, people can talk about me, laugh, or whatever, right? But I know how intelligent I am. I know what I know. And I can tell you that even though I'm not a male, I know men better than they know themselves. I know everything there is to know about a male, which is why I'm so confident to say what I say. Now, this book right here, Time Magazine, The Science of Emotion. I don't do nothing but buy books and books and books.
Right.
It's like one of my books is what? 100 Greatest Mysteries. Right. I pay for these books, right?
Yeah.
Like when I go to the grocery store, I see these books and I buy them.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And then the Salem witch trials, right? This, like, nobody can pull the wool. You can't pull the wool over my eyes, right? So The Science of Emotions, Time Magazine. I'm going to read two things right here. The anger for him and her, and love or caring, right? For men with anger, multiple studies have found a link between testosterone and aggression, likely because testosterone activates our brain's emotion center, the amygdala. While men and women feel the same amount of intensity of anger, men are more likely to assault the target of their anger physically. So this idea that males are less emotional than women is a lie. It's a lie. Women are more likely to use words to get what they want while preserving social harmony. They may be slower to act out of anger than men because their orbital frontal cortex, the brain's emotional control center, is relatively larger than their amygdala, which means that the woman is less emotional than the male. Her emotional control center is larger than the male, than her amygdala. The male is more likely to assault the target of his anger, which means the person who could govern this male, they put her under his feet and they put him at the front. And because he cannot operate in this capacity, he gets angry. Because society told him that he was more logical than a woman and that he could do more than she could. And now he's experiencing cognitive dissonance because reality is showing him that she can, which makes him angry, which makes him want to assault these women. The problem is patriarchy. The problem is patriarchy and always has been.
Those are men that aren't centered.
But this is the majority. Listen, this is the majority. This is y'all's body. This is what testosterone do to y'all brain. You can't deny that. This is science. You have testosterone, and this is what it do to your brain.
Physically, we know this. You're talking about testosterone. Yeah, people who take steroids, obviously, there's roid rage because of that. Women physically cannot compete with men on a general scale, right?
It ain't even about competition.
I'm just saying, in terms of emotionally, right? And I'm not denying what you're saying completely, because there are a ton of men who aren't centered emotionally, but in terms of acting out in certain things, women can't definitely displace their anger physically for the most part. Some women do, in a moment, but they do it in other ways now, especially in terms of, I think you mentioned something about verbal. I don't know if you were talking about it in particular in terms of that, but in ways of affecting even other women and men through other ways other than just physical. You know what I'm saying? And these could be more detrimental than just physical. You know what I'm saying?
Are. Yeah. A dude just shot this woman 15 times.
And I was just talking about that.
Right.
Because that's a neurotic dude who can't control his emotions.
Do you understand?
And there's a lot of men like that.
Listen, right, because of testosterone.
No, because he's not centered. You're right. He's not in control.
You're asking, what we're talking about is self-control, which requires willpower. I am talking about the biology, because willpower is a choice. Testosterone is not a choice.
Correct.
This is your nature. And so what I am telling you is that the nature of the male is more likely to attack, and women are slower to act out because their emotional control center is larger than their amygdala. The male, every 5 hours, a woman is getting unalive by a day.
You see how you say it, male versus woman, though? Did you notice?
Well, that men do that all the time.
I'm just saying, Princella. I noticed how you were saying.
I am, and I'm doing it. I am doing it intentionally. I am doing it intentionally. Because let me tell you something. I'm doing it intentionally because we got to have a logical and rational conversation, right? In order to be a man, baby, it takes self-control. It takes discipline.
Absolutely.
And that means you're at the top of the pyramid.
Facts.
The majority of people are not at the top of the pyramid. So guess what? Every dude wants to be a man. They don't deserve the title of man. They don't, right? So let's just keep it a buck. I'm not out here. This ain't no debate. This is real conversation, right? I don't care about what is going on now. I'm talking real. And the real is the male. Testosterone, this is what it do to his brain. This is who the government put as the head of the household. This is why 10-year-olds are getting knocked up by 35-year-olds. Let's keep it a buck, right? And so women are more likely to use words to get what they want while preserving social harmony. To preserve social harmony, in order for this planet to be peaceful and harmonious, the woman would have to be the one that's in control. But instead, we put the one who is easily triggered because of testosterone, where we have to depend on him reaching down into the depths of his soul to have willpower to control himself, versus the woman's brain being wired to control her anger. Wired and choice, right?
Right.
So the male is in the wrong position. Now, go down here. Men show that they care, not that they love, but show that they care by offering solutions to alleviate stress or sadness. Their brains dial down empathy and ramp up or amp up analysis. When males fall in love, their brains light up most in areas associated with visual processing, including one linked to sexual arousal. Everything about the male is about his penis being hard, about sex. So
What if this
now,
thing can't get hard no more?
what? And then guess what? His self-esteem is greatly impacted because the number one motivation of his entire life is him having sex. And when he can't do that, his self-esteem is severely impacted. Okay, so now the male who dials down empathy, because we was talking about empathy, right?
Right.
So now we got a dude that's willing to attack and fight, and we clearly see that he shot her 15 times in the back. I know 2 people, right? I think I told you about that. 2
Yeah.
people, right? Last time,
Right.
right? Then you have several males who have gone on live Facebook to unalive women because the women left them. You know why that is? Let me tell you why that is. Because scientific studies also show that when men experience 2 or more breakups or they live alone, that they experience inflammation. So men go through physical pain. So not only are they experiencing physical pain, you got testosterone that's causing them to be angry and want to attack, right? And men with low self-esteem, I'm just showing you the brain of the male, and we're asking males to dig deep by choice. We're asking them to dig deep by choice to have some willpower to control themselves.
I got
Maybe the male ain't finna control himself. He depends on the police and the woman to govern and control his ass. That's just the reality.
Let me give you a story, Princella.
Go ahead.
You just said. So I was that dude. I was about to take my ex-wife out when I was going through a divorce, right?
Mm-hmm.
I had the pistol and everything loaded because of the situation that was going on, right?
Mm-hmm.
And this is before because there's several factors that play into this behind the scenes, right? And obviously, self-control is the biggest thing at the end of the day. And now we can talk about childhood. We can go into the whole psychological thing in terms of neediness and, parenthood and how you were raised even down to infancy, growing up and you becoming neurotic to the point where you feel like you have to unalive someone or put your hands on a woman or do things like that, which I was at that point. But it takes somebody to reflect, because a man is strategic. You know what I'm saying? A man, this is what I'm speaking from a man's perspective. So I hear what you're saying. When you say male, a man is strategic in his thinking. He's thinking steps ahead. He doesn't act in the moment. You know what I'm saying? And this is a thinker. This is a man that's a thinker. So at that point in time, I had every intention of doing something like that, and I was under the influence at the time. But I sat there and I thought about it, and I was like, in a moment, I'm like, I'm not that dude. I've never been that guy. And just in a moment, I was like, and I was actually like right there at that point, like face to face. And I didn't do that. But at that point, I realized I had to get in control of my emotions, because I would get attached to women. Like during that time, I would be needy. When they wouldn't talk to me, I would text, which a lot of dudes do. They don't know what to do. They'll start texting a woman if she don't respond. Like this dude, that was the same situation with this guy that you're talking about. He would text her, she wouldn't respond, so he decided to take her out because she wouldn't respond to his text. This is someone who doesn't love themselves, first of all, and has a scarcity mindset. So you don't love yourself, you're needy, you become neurotic in a moment, and you need to be in control. Obviously, you're not in control, you're gonna go into doing something like that. So I didn't have anything but myself at this point. And I don't want to make this long-winded because I want to bring on some of these callers.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't have anybody to say, hey, get your shit together or whatever. In my mind, I was just like consciously, and it could have been, could have been the higher power, could have been the universe, could have been source, could have been God.
Mm-hmm.
In that moment saying that, what the fuck are you doing? You know what I'm saying? Like, this isn't it. It's more to this shit than this. And I didn't do it. You know what I'm saying? And things eventually smooth out the way it's supposed to be. But I think people like that, it's a form of control. Anybody who kills anybody outside of, like, in instances like that, it's just a form of control. You know what I mean? That you're not in control. I need to get revenge. This person should be reacting to me when you can't make anyone. That's the thing I say to any guy. You can't make a woman do anything. At the end of the day, a woman she's at the end of the day, you don't control anybody, you don't own anybody. If she decides to have sex with someone, talk to someone, that's what she's gonna do. You know what I'm saying? Once again, you must love in such a way that the person you love feels free.
And that requires a male, because the nature of a male is territorial. He feels like he owns.
And I agree with you when you said that.
Right. Yeah. So in order for a male to love, he would have to rise above the perception of ownership over a woman, right? And so because the majority of males can't do that because they are codependent by nature, they need women. They depend on the ownership of women to boost their ego because they seem they can't do it themselves. A man, ain't no real man, ain't no true man, baby, a man.
I hope y'all listening to what she's saying. For those of y'all that may be saying, I hope y'all listening.
They ain't. It don't matter. They ain't. It don't matter. But a man is a male who has done the work and risen above his lower nature to become a self-actualized human being. And once he makes it to transcendence, which is above self-actualization, he can operate at a Christ consciousness frequency.
There you go.
But it is harder for a male to reach that level than it is a woman. Women are born to actually be at that level. The problem is patriarchy has dragged the woman down underneath that. So now the woman is not even operating at her God frequency. Now she has to find her way back there too. So in order to do that, you must free yourself, because love is free. People think that love is free in the context that you just give it away. Baby, you got to work up to love. So once you get there, it is uninhibited. This is why the United States has the eagle as a symbol, because the eagle represents freedom. It represents a level of spirituality. It's a free bird, uninhibited, right? And out of not controlling, right? So men think that a woman's love is supposed to be free, but he doesn't realize that you have to earn everything in your life. The male has been placed in this world to earn everything, and he was supposed to earn the love of a woman, because they say that agape is love and God is love.
Okay.
And the person who is capable of love is a woman. Woman is God on earth. She is heaven on earth, but they have taken her out of her divine place. And when she's there, the male is to build himself up to earn access to the woman. He is to earn her love. She ain't to just give it to him, because giving a male anything will squelch his desire and his ambition to achieve anything. The male ain't supposed to be giving a goddamn thing on this planet. Nothing. He either earn it or he don't.
say last, Princella. So
yeah,
let's real quick, guys. Y'all see, we got 222 people in the building. Y'all hear, this is an awesome conversation. Princella is 143 likes. Y'all playing, man. It needs to be at least 200 and something up in there. Shout out, to my lovely host Princella. You guys hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Also, you guys see the ticker at the bottom. Make sure you subscribe to Princella's YouTube channel. You follow her on Instagram. She's on TikTok as well. You see her website if you guys are looking for guidance and things like that. Also, and with that being said, we're going to go ahead and bring in the next caller here. I seen her on here last night. I'm going to say shout out to Sacktown, shout out to Del Paso Heights, shout out to the homies. So we're going to go ahead and I don't want to mess up your name. Aishia, or is it Aisha?
I am so happy that you said my name right. It is Aishia.
How you
Hi.
doing?
Happy Wanda.
So we already know you calling in. You already know you calling. I know you got me on the TV in the back. You know what I'm saying?
The TV is actually on mute and the kids are not around. I have been waiting my turn for a patient good hour, so I have been tuned into her whole entire conversation. So this time my energy is a little less than last time. So you ain't got a trip, okay?
Okay. So talk to me. What you got for the Queenmaker?
So I just wanted to say hi, Miss Princella. You are very admirable with everything you've been saying. I want to introduce myself. My name is Aishia. I am calling from Sacramento. I do have 5 kids of my own, but I do rep the rainbow proudly. So I do want to come in and let you know I'm a domestic violence survivor as well. So as I was listening to everything you were saying as to the reasonings as to why I choose to date women is a lot to do with what you said. I like the way you continue to educate the male caller that called in, because he genuinely does seem like, and if he's hearing us again, no judgment, but it does seem like he's trying to work out something with like his wife or something. And the way you kind of just say, hey, listen, I like that you saw how he said, well, which one's dominant? It's like, wait a minute. When you want a female, just everything you've been saying, it's like, it drew my attention because it's like a lot of men, they only expect when you think of female relationship, again, who is dominant, who's the male or who's the feminine one, when quite honestly, I'm a femme, I'm not a stud. But, at the end of the day, how I dress has nothing to do with how I connect with the actual individual. And the man always has to seem to be in control of something. And I just want to agree with everything you were saying to begin with. But then I had some questions. It's the only way to keep a conversation going. Then I had some questions. In the beginning, you had said something like, the reason why you really don't date with males is because, like feeling like a slave or, having to basically cook and clean. Like, I've been at work all day. I've been doing scary. What you been doing? I mean, why is my, dinner not in the microwave? Where's my blunt at or whatever? And I heard what you were saying. I was thinking when JR said, okay, baby, now, what if I'm that guy? I ain't even the person on the show with you. I'm just that guy. I'm that guy. I meet all your mutual understanding. I meet all your standards, everything. And I have that empathy. What does it take to be in your life, not being a female? If I am the male, I'm not controlling. I do respect you. I do understand that. What would it take? I had that question because as a woman, I felt the same way. I felt the same way as you, and I still do. As a single mom with kids, I feel the same way towards the kids. And I'll be thinking, like, at the end of the day, I kind of also think, well, this is necessary. I want to ask you, we all got to cook because we got to eat. And we all got to clean because you look like a beautiful ass woman. So I know you ain't dirty. So my question is, how do you balance that out with your woman when she does have that understanding? She do come home and be like, baby, I noticed you ain't on the couch. What's happening? Oh, man, I don't smell no steak in the kitchen. Oh, I ain't really feeling it. My stomach been hurting all day. Okay, baby, don't worry about it. I heard what you said. I understand your stomach not feeling too well. Do you want me to make you some soup a little later? You want to let me know? Like, I have all that. I heard everything you said. Still not asking for a meal. Willing to do all that. How does that make you feel when she come with the soup and she come with the Ritz cracker, or whatever it is? Yeah, baby, you're right, because I ain't feeling steak right now. It's kind of too heavy. Whatever. Are you willing to cook breakfast the next morning?
Love is free. Oh, you gotta.
Yeah, she got her. She got that TV on, baby. Yeah.
Oh, let me move around. Can you see me now?
No, it's an echo.
An echo. Let me turn off TV.
Yeah, turn that TV off.
Okay. Can you hear me better now?
Absolutely.
Okay, no, so I was just wondering, like, would you cook your girl breakfast in the morning and stuff?
No, it's hard.
JR, don't laugh at me.
No, it's something on. Like, I know she got on her headphones. That's why you got an echo going.
Oh, can you hear me now?
I can hear you, but there's an echo. And she had on headphones.
Oh, okay.
Feedback.
Should I put on my headphones?
You have something playing this show while you're talking. Something is playing this show. Do you have another phone or something that's playing this show?
I did have you casted earlier, but I just powered off the TV. Should I unplug the TV? Let me unplug the TV, y'all, because I really want to hear this. Okay, I unplugged the TV. Can you hear me now?
It's not about whether we can hear you. It's when I'm talking, I'm hearing feedback. I hear me talking, coming back into this feeding back. So it's something playing.
All right, let's do it like that. So I'm gonna mute you. I'm gonna mute you when Princella's talking. Go ahead.
Okay.
Princella.
Okay. All right. Okay. All right. So here's the thing. Love is free. It ain't out of obligation, right? Nothing is out of obligation, right? So you give without the expectation of anything in return. That's love, right? And if I am considerate of you and your well-being as you are mine, I am going to do for you with pure intention, not because you did something for me, so I feel like I got to do something for you. I am doing it because I actually love you, right? And I'm in tune with you. So I'm not going to put stress on you or burden you and see how much I can get out of you, right? So there's a law of cause and effect, and there's a law to giving and receiving. You cannot have an effect without a cause, and you cannot give without receiving, right? So I don't believe in reciprocity. Love is not about reciprocity.
Right.
If I go and tell you and give you a compliment, I'm giving you that compliment because I genuinely think that about you. I'm not telling you that you look good because I want you to tell me I look good. I'm not looking for that. And I'm not cooking for you because I'm looking for you to cook for me the next day. If you expect somebody to do that, then you're not operating in love. I don't operate in obligation. I operate in freedom. And if I love a person for who they are, and if that person don't cook, I'm not expecting them to cook because I cook for them. I'm not putting that obligation on them, right? If she wants to cook for me, I will appreciate what she does out of the kindness and the goodness of her heart. Right? She did that for me out of love. She did that for me out of love and not out of obligation. Yeah, she did that for me out of love and not out of obligation. And when you do something because you want to do it, it means more. Right? Most people don't know how to operate like that.
Yeah, I agree because it's very similar to basically having unexpected expectations. My oldest are 13-year-old twins, and I went to a class over there off of, I don't know, I think it was Florin Road about 10 years ago. It was a woman named Valerie that held a class called Flourishing Families, and I was trying to learn about it all. And, unexpected expectations is the best way to basically disappoint yourself. Don't place them upon nobody else and don't expect them from nobody else. So I appreciate that response from you because that was pure honesty. If it's love, you see it. It's not something, well, damn, baby, I just made you. I mean, so yeah, you solid, okay? Cheek pass. No, I'm just kidding.
All right.
So I like that one. Okay. And then my last little question I had was on your scientific method knowledge that you came upon. I just want to ask this last question. If you were interested or you had a female that was interested in you and your lifestyle, and she happened to actually have a little knowledge of how the scientific stuff goes, because maybe she has a medical background, used to be a nurse or whatever, you guys click on that real tight, like she really digging it. But at the end of the day, she actually carries a lot of testosterone herself. Y'all gotta see the knuckles. I'm just playing Princella. I'll try to make you smile. I'll try to make you smile. Okay, listen, but there's some women that may carry a little testosterone. There's some men, some JR, that might carry that other, feminine side of them. So moving forward, you know what I'm saying? You meet a woman that has a little bit of testosterone. How are you able to manage that emotional regulation, because she's a female and she's got all that mutual understanding. Her emotions is definitely tied to you, but she got a little testosterone in her. You know, how do you work that out?
Okay.
Right, go ahead.
Okay. All right. A woman will never be flooded with as much testosterone as the male body. It never will be, right? So the fact of the matter is, I'll always be able to work with somebody I love, because with every pro, there's a con. Like we come in this world with unrealistic shit, like looking for a person to be all perfect, and it's nothing that is undesirable that come with them, man. If the pros outweigh the cons, right? If the pros outweigh the cons, accept it, roll with it, right? So first of all, I love people for the uniqueness. I don't really have a preference. Like when it comes to people, I don't really have a preference. What I'm looking for is internal, right? So I could deal with a girl that's a tomboy because I like the tomboy style, right? As a matter of fact, I want a woman that has some masculine energy because I like masculine energy, because I know what that is. I know that masculine energy is work ethic. I know it's determination. And I love a person with a strong will. I like strength. Right? So I'm cool with a tomboy. I'm cool with a chick that's all girly. The question is who are you here and who are you here?
I like that, because I'm straight femme, but I do security. I was trying to show y'all my little badge. I know he's wondering what the fuck was that. So I feel it when I'll be out there. I'll be out there in my uniform and be like, dang, is she a man? Like, no. But thank you, Princella. I just really wanted to touch bases on that because, you know, you really spoke on a lot of things that actually make a lot of sense. I had so many different relationships that I just wanted to hear your perspective, because my last one was a male, but he was so feminine that I actually didn't know how to love him correctly. And then the reason why I've been tuning into JR, which now I'm about to tune into your shows, is because he mentioned the last time, you know, do you get rid of a good man just because he's a cheater? Something like that. And I thought about it. I'm like, damn, dude,
I didn't say that. I didn't say that. The dude on the show said that.
Something like that. Something like that. But, you know, it's like, you know, at the end of the day, it's like, do you? Because at the end of the day, dude was hella good to me and my kids. He wasn't a father to none of my kids, girl, everything. Good dude. Bake cookies for me, you know, all that. But it was so too sweet that, you know, I was hurt his feelings. I didn't know how to keep hurting him. I had to let him go because I was too into, you know, like how I am. He was too sweet. So I really just
feel you. I see that. You know, we got some more callers. I appreciate you calling in. Your energy is dope as usual. You'll catch you on the next one. All right.
Thank you, guys. I appreciate you answering.
Shout out to the sack.
One love.
Yeah, shout out. I appreciate Aishia's energy, man. You know, she's always a burst of energy. She was on last night, and I guess she was referring to Rome, who's in a poly relationship, who basically was saying that about if a man cheats, is a woman cheating herself out of, and I don't want to start another conversation, but that's basically what she was talking about. Is a woman really cheating herself out of a good situation just because a man cheats? Does that make him not a good man at the end of the day? In terms of, you know?
Good is subjective, and people
Absolutely.
are always the thing is, people have unrealistic expectations of males, right? And so a woman's guide to good or bad is predicated on his ability to govern and control himself, right? And just stay with one person, right? Mm-hmm. But that's not the nature. That's not the nature, right? And this is why I push polygyny, right? Because polygyny is not male controlled. It's female controlled. Mm. And if you understand the makeup of the male and that his ultimate reward is passing his genes along, that's the glass ceiling. That's literally the ceiling. A male, this is why Nick Cannon is doing what he's doing. Because Nick Cannon has been given resources and freedom to operate in his nature ungoverned. He's not even governing, controlling himself. The only way that Nick Cannon would govern and control himself is if he didn't have access to freedom. Right? So What women should do is stop competing against each other and select the top of the top male.
But they may see him as that. They're collaborating with him in this, Princella, and you know this.
Hold on, wait a minute. No, I'm talking about in terms of the way I see the society working to its optimal position, right?
Okay.
To its optimal, right?
Okay.
The male, you're not choosing him based on how strong he is on biological terms, right? Because you could operate polygyny on biology, or you can operate polygyny on transcendence. If women operated polygyny on a transcendent level, the male could not just acquire quote unquote money. You know why? Because the woman was given dominion over the planet. She had control over all of the actual resources. So a male couldn't give you what you already had control over. Right? He couldn't bring you some twigs or a cow. You govern all of that, right? So what you would do in that situation when the woman is actually in control of all the resources, that means the male would have to have more than resources. What would he have to do? He would have to elevate himself to a level of transcendence, which means he would have to learn how to control himself without outside people controlling him. He would have to learn how to be fully independent, where he can elevate in communication, elevate in all of these higher level things. And then the women would reward that man with passing his genes along. And since the male is wired for competition, other males would see how the male gets access to women, and they would try to do better.
That's how it should be. Yeah, that's natural.
That's the way it's supposed to be. But patriarchy flipped everything out of order. So now most people don't know what love is. Women don't understand that they are love, and not they're supposed to be love and not look for it. They don't understand any of this stuff. So everything is completely out of whack. But if it's operating at its optimal position or function in the way it should function, a community of women would be off limits to males, and the male who is trying to get access to the women and all of the gifts that women bring, he would elevate himself. They would select him and give him the reward of passing his genes around amongst a community of women. And because of his territorial nature, he would protect his own self-interest and the community of women, which he would see would be his, and he would have the functional capability to govern and control other men. Men are not supposed to govern and control women. Women are not their jurisdiction. Their jurisdiction is governing and conquering other men. But these people have flipped it into men conquering women. And if you conquer women, you destroy the world. That's not your jurisdiction. Your jurisdiction is controlling other men. But the male is too weak to control other men. So the best person for him to control is a woman. That's why they so focused on controlling women, because they too weak to control a male that's better than him. He can't do it. They can't be General Patton. They can't be Sun Tzu. They can't be these high level males. They just can't do it.
Yeah.
So they got to go for the weakest link, and they think that the woman is the weakest link. And this is why men want women to be isolated. They want women to be single, because women are too strong when they're in a community, because there's strength in numbers. So they want women to be isolated and single so that it's easier for him to conquer her. It becomes a task when you got to go up against a community of women, and only the alpha male will have access to that community of women. See, I can see how to fix this whole thing, but the majority of women would have to leave males alone entirely.
I know you got the answer.
Yeah, I got
it. Yo, let's break this. We got because we coming up on 2 hours, and we not gonna run this longer. This ain't gonna be no all night live stream. I'll go ahead and let me go ahead and delete this or unpin this thing so nobody else can call in.
All right.
Right now, we got 3 callers in the stash. So before we bring on the next caller here, I see you, B. Make sure you guys hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, subscribe to the channel, subscribe to Princella's channel like right now. Follow her on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, all those great things. You guys see it scrolling across. If you don't know, shoot a Cash App. Her Cash App is there as well. If you like what she's saying, if you like what Pastor P is talking about right now, go ahead and shoot her a Cash App. Stop being stingy. Where are we at with the likes? Because we got 230 people in here. 166, like y'all being like stingy. Y'all listening to all this good information and y'all acting a fool up in here. But anyway, without further ado, let's go ahead and bring on B. Talk to me, B. How you doing, sir?
I'm good. How you doing? You all right?
You from the UK?
Yeah, I'm a London boy. Definitely
London
Southeast London.
Say less, man. Shout out to the London boys in the UK. What you got for the Queenmaker tonight?
All right, I'm gonna be honest. I'm from a different perspective to where she comes from.
Yeah, just for a little.
Sorry?
Bit. Just for a little bit. You know what I mean? Go ahead.
Love it. That's a good attempt. Love it.
Yeah, I'm the best.
No,
I'm the best. Keep going.
That's one of the best. I've heard worse, a lot worse from Americans. So definitely.
You see,
cheers
I got
to
on
you,
my
mate.
Facebook
By the way,
I got on my Facebook. Go ahead.
Because what she told me gave me a bit of an aneurysm today. All of that she was saying was a lot. Some of the things you said were very, very true. And I do really appreciate that, because a lot of men need to understand you can't go around hurting people. Firstly, you can't go around hurting women. That's like the most disgusting and the stupidest thing you can do, to be honest. Even to yourself. It's detrimental to yourself. But the level in which I've just listened to her demonize men is unbelievable. Down to our biological nature. Can you explain for me why you believe a man who's born with certain chemicals that literally are necessary for our survival, why is it an issue that our biological makeup is now affecting relationships? I don't understand how our testosterone makes us somehow uncontrollable. Would you just give me an answer on why you believe men with... I'm speaking to Priscilla, by the way.
Yeah, no, I heard you. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. It is what it is, brother man. It is what it is, right? So the reality is the music loud. Like
I turned it down. I turned it down. I didn't know it was that loud. I got you though. Go ahead, Priscilla. I got you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So listen, it is what it is. The reality is, when males were first created, there was no artificial system. There was no patriarchy. There was no capitalism, socialism, fascism. There was none of this. So you all expelled that energy, hunting and doing all that stuff. Well, in these artificial systems, in these artificial makeups, you are no longer expelling that energy in the wild. It's all built up and pent up energy. So now who do you happen to release that energy on? You happen to release it on women. And y'all want us to be okay with y'all abusing us, gaslighting us. What is our nature? What's the problem? I don't understand. Right?
Priscilla, I'll be honest with you. What you're mentioning and a lot of the things you've mentioned are not a man's nature. That's a woman's nature. Do you understand? That's not a man's nature. A man's nature is to be grounded, to constantly persevere, to constantly struggle, you understand? And constantly overcome obstacles. Something that women know very, very little about. Because majority of you women, the obstacles you've dealt with in your life and you continue to deal with are all obstacles that have been derived by choices you have made. E.g., single motherhood. Everyone thinks this is a great idea. Yeah? I think single mothers are very, very commendable.
Do you
but
know
how
who
you
I
got
am?
in that situation in the first place?
Do you know who I am? Do you know who I am? Do you know my background?
I just see a lady in front of me.
Right. So you don't know
JR's
anything. So you don't know anything. You don't know anything about me, and you're coming here with cookie cutter stuff because I can promise you.
No. I'm not talking about you in specifics. All right, I'm not talking about you in specifics, and I'm not looking to argue.
You got to talk to me because I'm the one making the claim. I'm the one making the claim. So talk to me about me, in my mind, right? So,
are you a single mother, Priscilla?
Yeah, I am one. Right?
Why did you ever sleep with that man to begin with?
Hold on. You ain't here asking the questions, all right? I'm here. Right. Yeah, we're not doing that. Okay. So because what we ain't gonna do is start gaslighting. No, because we ain't gonna start. Because what you ain't about to do is manipulate and turn this thing. I'm not gonna let you do it. So
manipulation?
What I showed you is this. And this ain't I didn't write this book. This is Time Magazine, baby. This is science. This is studies.
Time Magazine never spoke to me.
Sir, I don't care. Who are you? This is the men on earth. Listen, sir, this ain't about speaking to anybody. This is biology. This is what testosterone do to the brain. I don't care what you say about you. Now, what I did is I pulled up some science, and I don't care what you got to say about this science. I don't care how it feel. You can call it man hate, but baby, this is your nature. It's your nature, and the majority of y'all ain't persevering shit. Okay, the majority of y'all are sitting here looking for women to roach on so that you can figure out how not to be struggling so hard. I'm telling women to let y'all ass stay in the cold and let your dick get hard and break off. That's what I'm telling. I'm telling them to stop saving you. I'm telling them to stop saving you because you're supposed to persevere, right? Persevere on your own.
Because a lot of the time, you women are living off the curtails of successful men. Yeah. So all of that thing you're saying, can I finish speaking, please? Or you might as well just take me off the show. Like, regardless, I'm being real. These women or these men you're talking about, yeah. Sorry, I lost my train of thought.
Go ahead, finish. You was talking about living off the coattails. You said women were living off the coattails. Yeah, go ahead.
That's it, the coattails. So all these successful men who seem to have what? 50, 60, 70, 100 honeys, yeah? You're gonna tell me all those women are oppressed, yeah? And they are, let's say, being coerced and confused into chasing Future and J Hus. That's all coercion. Or in fact, you know what? Drake is actually being funded by a secret single mother somewhere in Chicago, right? Are you understanding what I'm saying to you? You're saying leave us out in the cold. If we left you out in the cold.
Sir? I don't have a clue what you're talking about, sir. Yeah?
Okay, all right. Do you want me to do the American accent? All right, cool. All right, so what I'm saying to you.
I would prefer it.
All right, you're making me laugh, but you're obviously obstructing my point. You know exactly what I'm saying. What I'm saying to you is, yeah, what you're spreading right now is unhealthy. It's unhealthy to women. You want to know why it's unhealthy to women? Because there's a million of women chasing the 1% of men out there right now. Yeah. And those 1% of men are breaking them off, maybe giving them some breadcrumbs. You get me? Breaking you off to keep you on the line, keep you on my phone, keep you in my DMs. Now, what I don't get is where are these women who are supporting men talking about leaving them out in the cold? Because as far as I can see, I'm in my house. As far as I can see, every woman I've slept with has been in my bed. Yeah. That's as far as I know. I work for my own money. I'm blue collar, by the way. I work on a construction site. I'm a construction worker. I direct cranes, yeah, for a living. And I have funded many women. I've been in many, many relationships where women expected things from me. And I've given it to them, yeah? Not because I'm a simp, as people would like to call it, because I understand the true nature of a relationship. If I expect that woman to share her body with me, I'm expected to obviously provide for her, regardless of the duration I spend with her.
Right.
Now, what sort of psychotic, testosterone-driven monster would look after the women he sees, including their children? Oh my fucking God, men are demons.
Oh my God, sir. Look, let me tell you something. You can talk about you individually. You just told me you wouldn't talk about me individually, but you want to talk about you as an individual. So you said that we over here living off, right? And I told you to talk to me. So listen, you're talking to a ex-military officer. I was commissioned in the Army as an officer, right? I was top salesperson, okay, in my field of sales, in the car industry and in the direct marketing industry, okay. I have recorded 2 CDs. I built this by myself. I went to school for cell and molecular biology, right? I'm on my 3rd book that I'm writing, right? I did this all by myself now. Now, let me wait up, B. All right. Not only did I do that, I rented a truck. I didn't even go to school, and I started driving trucks, right? So I done lived on the streets twice. I done been in abusive relationships, okay? I done been through the whole 9 yards. So, and I was actually sleeping out in the cold, on the street in my car, right? I got myself out of that. Perseverance, right? So,
yeah.
What I'm looking at here is that the male, instead of him persevering in a way like I did, because ain't nobody gave me a goddamn thing. Not now, male. Everything I ever got, I worked my ass off to get it. What I do know is males are more likely to move in with women than the other way around. It's men staying with women, right? It's them. The homosexual is the male, right? Right? Y'all can sit up here and say that all you want to.
I know you telling the truth.
Yeah. So let's keep it a buck, because it was the dude that was on Tanya TKO. Yo, dog, let me tell you how to move in with a woman, yo. See, first, what you do is you go over there and you dog it down. You beat the doonies up.
That was a comedian, though.
No,
that was Hobie.
No,
that was a comedian.
Because niggas try to do that, right? They're taking it serious, right?
It worked, though. It worked.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. So why you got to tell men how to go roach on a woman, right? I mean, a pimp ain't a pimp without hoes, but a hoe is still a hoe, right? So he need her for him to build up. I want to see a dude. You say that men, it's in their nature to persevere. It's in their nature to persevere, right? And then why they need women to do it, right? Why do a pimp need a hoe for him to be something? Why?
I always say that's a weak profession anyway. But I'm gonna let B respond, and we're gonna go on to the next caller, bro. Talk to me, B. What's happening, man?
That's it. Now, I fully understand there's so many career-driven women who have come from nothing, yeah? But Priscilla, I commend you for coming through what you've come through. But you need to understand what you've just been through is almost 70% of what every man on this planet will go through at one point or has already gone through. Do you understand? Not everything you've been through, I'm talking about the sleeping rough, the suffering, the struggling, yeah? And in regards to your question about men moving in with women, yeah, a lot of the time in a relationship with a man in 2022, when almost every single woman has a child, a lot of the time a woman is not going to uproot her and her child to come and live with you in your apartment or your flat or your house. That's one of the main fundamental things people keep on missing. A lot of women are in their houses with their children, and a man coming into her life who actually loves her a lot of the time would settle to being in her house. Now, on the flip side, her girlfriends will say, oh, the guy is this, he's a bum, he's a hobo, he's moving in with her, this and that. But what's he doing while he's in her house? That's the question you really need to ask yourself. Is he paying bills? Is he looking after a kid? Is he feeding her cats? You understand what I mean? What's he contributing while he's there? That's what I ask myself.
Most of them hollering 50-50 and don't want to do nothing. Go home and play the game.
Sorry? I didn't hear you. Could you say that again, please?
I said most of them ain't doing nothing but begging for 50-50 or trying to drain her and have her do all the work while he's staying in her stuff. Because most of them ain't got their own. Most of them ain't got no flats. Ain't nobody living in no, penthouse and no. You know what, baby? I'ma move into your place because I know you don't want to come move into my 3-story house, right? Or my flat. Come on, cut the games. These niggas is homosexuals.
They're just hobos. Okay, you know what? I'm a logical man, so I'm gonna say, yeah, maybe you're right. Some guys are just fucking hobos, yeah. But I'm gonna tell you, the majority of men are not like that. And we're not like how you and a lot of feminists and women are making us out to be. That's not how the nature of men is. We're not these violent, rapist, demon creatures who are incapable of love. That's not what men are. Yeah, men are actually extremely capable. Just so you know, let me just tell you a quick story of my own. It'll be very fast. Yeah, I love the woman. I moved her into my house. Yeah, you understand? I looked after her. I paid for everything. She barely had to spend anything ever. She got pregnant. She barely had to move a muscle. You understand? She works from home on her laptop on my bed. Yeah, I found out she was having sex with another man pretty much since the minute I knew her. Yeah, we had a child together before I found out she was having sex with other men. My child died in my hands. Yeah, that child was not mine. Can you understand the difference? There's men out there who would actually bring women into their space, look after them, nurture them, literally everything. And even while this is happening, there are women who are still capable of cheating, messing up men, not even appreciating anything you do for them. And I think that's the main thing. A woman does not appreciate a man's existence. No, they don't understand what we do to the table. I'm blue collar. I build the houses you live in. And I have to still fight for my respect while I'm going to and from work.
Because the problem lies in here. Y'all, scientific studies already show that when you are dealing with somebody who's not doing anything, guess what? An idle mind is a devil's workshop. It is the male's issue because you want a dependent. When you have a dependent, guess what? That's what that dynamic would happen whether it's a male or female. The problem is y'all don't want equal partners because guess what? Studies have shown that when the partners are more equal, the likelihood of cheating is dramatically lower than when you have a dependent. If y'all wasn't so...
Because she was working from home on my bed. We're making almost the same money. So how does that work?
Yeah, but she's at home. That's the problem, right? Because what
in
happens
my house,
it's north. It doesn't matter because now you're talking about stimulus in human nature. That same dynamic would play out if it was a male there. It would play out because you have a person practically in a cage, right? That's really what it is. And guess what? That person, whether it's male or female, because they're not actively doing anything, working from home is the worst thing. That's a prison. They're going to be seeking out thrill. They're going to be seeking out emotional fulfillment. That's just the way stimuli impacts the human psyche. So that dynamic would happen whether that was a male or a female. In order for you to prevent that, you have to channel that energy into other areas. Trying to trap people and bottle up all of this energy and expect them not to be human is crazy. This is why men are setting themselves up wanting a dependent. I want somebody to just depend on me and live in the house. Baby, you asking for a person to occupy their time with another person. Y'all need to have another vision. A vision needs to lead you. But as long as y'all think like that, y'all gonna keep getting that same shit. You just gonna keep getting it.
Hey, B, I need you to land the plane, brother. What's up, man?
Okay, I'm just gonna land this really quickly. I understand what you're saying. My situation was a little different. There was no trap. And this is like, the thing for me is I don't like this whole ideology or this whole notion where anything a man does, even when he's doing something good for a woman, he's trying to trap her, he's trying to control her, he's trying to do this, he's trying to do that. It's not healthy. Yeah, a lot of women are going to be single, stressed and upset. And eventually they're going to reach your age and they're not going to be lesbians. They're still going to want like men. And it's going to come to the point, that they're not going to know how to be with men because, no offense, but people like you have spent your time demonizing us. That's what I'm hearing. I've never had a conversation with you. So first impressions are very important. I just feel like it's a demonization. Even if a man gives you 100, like no matter what a man will give to you, there will still, not you, I'm just saying to a woman, there will still be some fault. Even if I did everything right, I'm wrong for doing everything right. I should have been a bit more.
The problem is you think what you're doing is right because you in your own mind think what another person wants. You're telling them what they want and that you're doing something. You ain't even included them. See, you can't buy me. I don't give a damn how much money you got. If you spiritually and romantically neglect me, I'ma leave you. It don't matter if you got $1 million. It don't matter what kind of car you drive. I will leave you. And instead of you listening to what it is that I want, you create in your mind that, well, I go to work because you listen to other men. This is what it meant. He provide. I don't need you to take care of me. I don't need to be a stay-at-home mom. I don't care about that. What I want is emotional, mental, and spiritual connection. And you can't do that, then I'm going to cheat on your ass. But you know what? I ain't going to cheat on you. I'm going to just drop you. And then you're going to wonder why I broke up with you, because your ass don't listen. And you're just doing what you want to do instead of what I told you need to do. Right?
All right. Hey, B.
Yeah. Sorry, mate. I'm just being real. She didn't break up with me, by the way. I told her to fuck off when I realized that child was not mine. So the funny part is, I'm with a Latina woman now. It was a black girl who did that to me, just so you know. I was with a Latina woman. I'm with a Latina woman right now, yeah? And she is amazing. She treats her son amazingly. She treats me amazingly. We have very, very few arguments, but at least she knows how to settle and talk about things. We have amazing sex. I don't feel the need to cheat on her. She doesn't feel the need to cheat on me. Yeah, and I've done my research because I have to keep myself safe. So what you're saying is, at a certain point in the relationship, if you can find a reason as a woman to cheat, you will cheat. Which for me is like, I don't really give a fuck. If you're gonna cheat, then I'm gonna leave and find someone better. That's how it works. And this is what women don't get. You, as that one singular woman, are not the best option for that man. Because that man could elevate himself. Sorry, can I finish speaking? That man could elevate himself at any single time. Yeah? That man could earn more.
You on here pleading your case, and I don't really
I'm trying to help people. You're trying to destroy people. That's the difference.
All I'm saying is, baby,
definitely damaged from a long time ago, and you're gonna continue damaging other.
Tell your wife to go cook you some tamales and put some cheese on it and tell her to go suck you off real good, because I really don't care. Go enjoy your life, but don't be coming here telling me about it. I don't care. All right? I'm talking to the ladies. All
right. Goodbye. Bye-bye.
Hey, right. B. Hey, appreciate you calling in, bro. All right. He muted himself. You muted yourself, bro. Go ahead. Huh? Okay. I tried to unmute you. You muted yourself, bro. Hey, I can't. You muted yourself. I unmuted you, man. So we got to move on to the next. Yeah, go ahead, bro.
Yep. Thank you so much for your time. Yeah, I appreciate you, JR. And yeah, Priscilla, honestly, we may not have the same opinions, but God bless you. Hope you have a lovely day. All right, darling. Bye.
Hey,
thank you so much for having me, though. I appreciate it.
Hey, later, bro. Yeah? We'll talk later, man.
Take care, brother.
Good night. Good morning. Yeah. Shout out to B, and his situation. Speaking on that, we're gonna knock out these next two callers here, and we're gonna call it a night, Princella, because we don't want to go too much. So let's get into it. Ria, RIAH, talk to me, but talk to me. Raya, how you doing this evening?
Doing good. How are you?
Greatest day of my life. Where you calling in from?
Houston, Texas.
Shout out to H-Town.
H-Town in the house.
H-Town in the house. And I just want to give a shout out to his Latina girlfriend. Thank you so much for keeping him away from the rest of the world. I hope she stayed with him forever. But anyways, I really wish y'all would have hung up sooner, because he was starting to defend too much. He kept bringing up the stuff that Princella was saying, taking it too personal, like as if you was talking about him. Like, I can understand why he was getting so defensive. And I noticed too, like the stuff you be saying, Princella, when they call in, they be so genuinely confused. And it's literally a prime example of the stuff you be saying. Like, you literally read text out of a book describing the anatomy of our brains and stuff, and they still call in like so bewildered and like, well, what? Like, it's just so wow. But anyways, my question, and I I tuned in because I seen the live on Princella page. That's who I follow. And I just had a question. So I'm a single mom, right? You know, domestic violence, blah, 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 Black woman in America, whatever, right?
Mhm.
And so I don't get any support from my child's father, right?
Mhm.
And my family either, you know, but somehow I'm out here doing kind of good, you know, I
Right.
don't know.
Right.
So, but I don't know. I feel like there are days when I want to break sometimes.
Mhm.
And I don't know what to do. Like sometimes I can't afford to even have a sick day. It's just me and my daughter. It's just us
Mhm.
two. Like if I get sick, it's nobody I can call and say, hey, can you go pick her up from the daycare while I go to the clinic? Like
Mhm.
I just have to be Wonder Woman around this bitch. And sometimes I really get tired.
Mhm.
But you know, I'm 26 and one of my guy friends told me that I'm getting to the age where guys ain't gonna like me no more, which after I found out about you, after I started watching your content, I really didn't care to like deal with guys, but at the same time I see myself starting to need help with things.
It ain't gonna
And
come from no man though, because men are conquerors,
yeah,
and they're not going to help you.
yeah,
Your help is gonna come from women. Daycares are run by women. Everything that you need is run by women. So this is why I focus on getting women to commune, because that's where your support system is. Ain't no man gonna help you. And then if he do, you got to worry too much about him doing anything correct or harming your kids.
yeah. I don't have no mama and I don't
Mm.
have no dad. And I don't really have any friends that are
And you
women.
don't never
Um,
tell, and you bet not ever tell a man that, because you setting
Oh no
yourself
no no
up
no
for
no! I be
failure.
lying. I be saying, "Oh, this my mama car," and I
Mm-hmm.
be lying, but you know, because I don't want to look vulnerable and stuff. You know,
Mm-hmm.
because I really for real just it's just me. But like, I don't know, like what should be my next step. I want to be like you. I want to be a leader. You know, I obviously have the capability for me to have come this, you know, achieved all these things and graduated without any assistance from anybody. So clearly I'm capable for the fact that I'm female. I know I can do it, but it's just sometimes I really be needing help around here. And I don't know, I'm thinking about, I don't know, maybe getting in a relationship, but I don't want to settle and I don't want to end up, you know, with somebody that's full of estrogen like that guy that just called,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and problematic and want to argue and want to control me, want me to, you know, just be in a cage of a house and just, oh, stay at home, do all this for me. Like, I still want to be able to do my own thing, but I can't be in two places at once. Like, I'm only one person. So I don't really know like what should be my next step. I'm
Yeah,
not a
I can.
church person. I understand I could join communities at church
Mm-hmm.
and, you know, fellowship with other women like that. But even when I've tried that, that's not really my vibe either. So I don't know. What do you think I should do?
Well, I know it ain't getting no relationship, right?
Okay.
I know it ain't that, right? What you need to do is really map out a plan, right? A logical and realistic plan about how you can get some support, right? Whether it's getting assistance, daycare assistance, or whatever, you need to figure out a logical plan to get you some free time, to get you some support, right? Uh, Even if, like, out here in Houston, right? $55 a day for daycare, right? Even if you just need one day, right? That's $55 for 10 hours, right? Or 12 if you go to Robindale, right?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
you know,
She don't go to Robindale no more. I moved.
mm-hmm,
So I'm not on that side no more. But I still get daycare assistance. I still do. Just because I moved, they didn't take it away or nothing. So I do get that. It's just like, you know, days when I really could use an extra person around here, an extra
right,
adult,
right,
you know, like I can't even afford to have a fucking sick day. Like
right,
if I fall to this whole thing going down without me, like, and that's
right,
overwhelming to me sometimes.
right.
You know, I have gratitude that I have the strength to be able to make it more often than not, but just the anxiety of, okay, what if this, what if this, what if this? And I'm knowing good and well it's nobody here but me,
Well, I'm
you
telling
know,
you, if
so
you're gonna look for assistance, don't look in the direction of a male. That's
okay,
the worst decision that
easy
you will
enough.
make. No,
Yeah,
seriously. If you're
yeah,
gonna look for assistance, look for women, right? I mean, That's what they're wired and capable to do, right?
Okay.
So you don't turn to somebody who's actually looking for help themselves. That's crazy,
Exactly.
because that's just a burden. The men are sitting up here telling you we don't like single mothers, and you sitting there thinking about turning to a male to have him help you with a kid.
Yeah.
That's illogical. Right?
Yeah, it's crazy. That would be crazy to do that.
Because
you know what I thought about?
He gonna look at you. Listen, he gonna see all them weaknesses. He gonna look because you're a beautiful girl. He gonna take that and he gonna run you into the goddamn ground. The last person you need to be looking towards is a male in the situation that you're in.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. But you know what I thought about too? How you were when you were talking to JR Wisdom, I thought about, because my guy friend told me that we can have sex with anybody and we don't feel emotions towards them. Like, we don't feel emotional attack, like how we like the guy if we're, being intimate with them. Obviously, we have some feelings for them and we like them. But he said men are not like that. They can be intimate and it's like, no big deal to them. So if they can do that and not have, feelings, it makes me think, just imagine how many guys are probably like playing house, faking a relationship just to try to take advantage of somebody.
The majority of them are, they are all looking for something, and it ain't to love you. That's for damn sure. Right. And so with you having this many deficiencies going on, baby, you are a prime target for somebody who needs to use somebody, because baby girl, you are gorgeous. I need you to understand that you are beautiful.
Thank you, Princella. No, you Princella, you are my Beyonce. Okay. Don't get it fucked up. You. But thank you.
they ain't stupid. They got eyes and they can see you gorgeous. They will tell you that you ain't shit because you got a kid, but that's only to lower your confidence. And you get to going and running off all this stuff that you ain't got this, you ain't got that, baby. That every time you say what you ain't got, they motherfucking shit light up. Ooh. So now this free sex, right? They can get as much out of you, all because you are so deficient. The last thing you need to do is be trying to deal with any male right now. You do not deal with men in a position of weakness. You deal with their ass in a position of power.
Okay.
And you ain't got no power right now.
Well, thank you, Princella. I'm, I was really at a crossroads between, like, because I've been, like I said, ever since I came across your content, I've been avoiding them things like the plague. Like, I really don't want any parts of it because, based on your research, you're a scholar, obviously. So you're not just saying things. This is based on your research. So, I take that seriously. I'll be listening and taking notes. Like, this stuff is really for real. This is not, you know what I mean? And by me having experienced domestic violence, it made me reflect and say, oh, that's what that was, So, it's not like I've just been desperate to get in a relationship, but like you said, by me having deficiencies here and there, it makes me think, well, maybe I should, do like other girls.
But see, all you did was prove what I tell people. This is what I teach people. People who are looking for relationships are in need, and they need somebody to fulfill a void. They need. And this is why I say that the majority of males are codependent. They don't like women. They need women. And that's why they want to get in relationships. And you only just prove that by saying, oh no, I'm thinking about getting a relationship because I got all these.
Because I need this.
Yeah, because you need that. And the last thing you need to do at this point is be getting in a relationship, because baby girl, you got one child, girl, you go do that. You finna have 2 and 3, because they don't have a governor on their behavior, and you are so needy that you gonna let this dude run. I'm telling you what's gonna happen. Stay away from dudes. Right now, you are way too weak to be dealing with any of them. Leave them alone. Look in the direction of a woman to help you. Stop thinking that men are here to help you. They're not here to do nothing but conquer. They're not here to build a damn thing. That's the nature of a woman. Leave their ass alone. Let them.
Hey.
Okay. Thank you, Princella. All right. Good night. I'm going to bed.
Good night.
Love you, Princella.
You too.
Shout out to her. You know, I know you got that. I got completely different advice, but she didn't ask me, so
Yeah.
I'm not gonna say nothing. You know what I mean? But I feel you on that, Princella. You know, they're like, where you at, JR? She didn't ask me for advice. I'm not about to jump in no women's business. Even though it is my channel, she asked her for advice. So, you know, let's because I'm gonna tell you, baby, if you listening, even though this is unsolicited, baby, you better get you a man out there. You 26 years old. You know what I'm saying? Like Priscilla said, you're gorgeous, baby. You know what I'm saying? If you need some help, I mean, obviously there's no. I'm not trying to come off sexist. I'm not telling you to just go with any man, but if you have a man out there that is, because obviously we differ in opinion of if there's good men out there or not. You know, it's a very small percentage. But if there is a man who shows interest in you, and it doesn't mean he has to put a baby in you, you know what I mean? Or because there's obviously birth control, prophylactic, so on and so forth out there. But she has youth on her side, which I know women don't like to hear that, but it's the truth of it. She's a beautiful woman, and there are men that are willing to, I don't want to say help her out of a bad situation, but basically willing to build with her. You know what I mean? But
I call bullshit, JR.
I know you was gonna say that. I feel you.
JR, I've been in that. JR, I've been in that position. I know men.
It's a lot of single mothers. It's a lot of men in this chat. It's a lot of women in this chat watching right now that they mama got helped out by a dude that just came out. You know, it wasn't their daddy, but he was paying for school clothes. He was paying for daycare.
Yeah, but Kevin Samuels and Red Pill, we don't want no single mother. Girl,
that's a lie. Hold on. I don't agree with that because that's a lie. Who's dating single mothers then? Single mothers getting pregnant repeatedly. It's not by the same dude.
You are a target for somebody to manipulate and use you because, baby, those are deficiencies. Do not listen to JR because JR gonna set your ass up.
I'm gonna tell you how you gonna make it, baby. You know, hey, you know, since early on, somebody been paying for your shoes for school, and it wasn't your daddy. And you got to keep it funky, Princella. Don't try to act like you don't know. Somebody been paying for your school clothes. Somebody, and it wasn't your daddy. And you got somebody that got you out in the pinch, sent you on that field trip, bought you that trumpet because you was in band. And all this other shit. So you can't sit here and be like, all these dudes, like I said, I'm not Red Pill. I'm not none of these dudes. So for these dudes that say, like, my daughters are by single mothers. So I'm not gonna sit here and say I haven't dealt with a single mother.
But then now you asking a person to wade through intentions, manipulative and deceptive tactics. That person, she's gonna have to sell her body to because men ain't doing that shit for nothing. You gonna have to now. You got to fuck that dude. No, you got to fuck, suck, and do all kind of stuff. Listen, stop depending on men. Don't listen to nobody telling you to go look for a male to depend on. Learn, help yourself, right? Help yourself. Do not be a dependent. And then when the shit backfire, well, you should have chose better. You should, man. Don't listen to that.
Telling her to choose any.
No, I'm just saying that's the. Well, you chose.
Baby, we just helping you out of a bad situation. You know what I'm saying? That's all I'm saying. And it's a lot of women. I'm not saying it's just. There's been a lot of women that's gotten out of bad situations in a time. I'm not telling you to sell your body because not all men want sex either. Some men just want your time. You know what I'm saying? And genuinely want to help. You know what I mean? And like I said, a lot of people in the chat can agree with this. Y'all done got your school clothes. Y'all done been this, that, the third because of that. So I get it. I hear what you're saying, Princella. Don't depend on a man. But hey, baby, you know what I'm saying? Sometimes, I mean, there's cheat codes to life, and there's other ways of doing it. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't mean you have to sell your soul or you have to sell your body, or you know, they can obviously listen to your teachings, read your book, and have a better chance of discerning a certain type of man, or definitely get with a male to, or it would just sound like
she'll do better doing a crowd fund and telling people her situation and have women go and donate. She'll come out better. Girl, you better not turn around to no dick and ass. You better not.
Hey, baby.
I would tell you to crowd fund first.
Man, I hear you. Well, we will go ahead and bring on this last caller.
All right.
And we're gonna get up out of here because this time just flew by up here. Lee.
What's
Welcome
up?
in.
How's everybody doing?
How you doing? Where you calling in from?
Grand Prairie, Texas.
Shout out to Grand Prairie. What you got? Did you call here last night?
I did actually, yeah.
Okay, say less. What you got for the Queenmaker tonight?
I think a lot of I saw your title, so I was kind of wanting to comment on that. I think a huge reason why, or should I say, men and women can communicate better by not bringing in these preconceived notions about each other and what they think a man and a woman should be in a relationship. I think we tend to set ourselves up for failure when we hope um, for a certain type of future.
Mm.
You know, there's an outcome that we expect that we end up falling short of. But as far as Princella, you have to understand something. Masculine and feminine, those go hand in hand. So
Okay.
just I
Good.
can't explain it any other way. A woman needs a man needs a woman. That's just the way it's always gonna flow. Unfortunately, in this life. I don't know what to tell you. And that lady, she's gonna want to be with a man to help her.
Let me tell you something about masculine and feminine energy, baby. No life can exist without masculine and feminine energy, which means that you as a male have both masculine and feminine energy. Women have both masculine and feminine energy, and baby, you are not needed to access that masculine energy. We can access that on our own. That's just the bottom line. So no, I'm sorry. You would like us to need you, but we don't. And when women come into their knowing of who they are and they provide all of their necessities, and you all have shut down your feminine side, baby, she'll realize that you are not capable of providing her what she needs once she don't need that masculine energy from you. She'll do it by herself. I'm sorry. I know you
You
like to
can
hear that.
you can do that, but that's working from a place of
Self-mastery. Yeah. Hmm.
no, it's more it's more of a place of you have to survival mode when you do that, because when you aren't acting in your feminine, it forces you, especially when you have failed relationships with men and you have a child and you're a single mother, you're forced to be put in a situation where you have to go in survival mode, especially when men have failed you.
No, actually not, because in the raw nature, women were communal and they weren't divided and conquered like they were now. And guess what? They took care of each other and they raised the children amongst each other. So there was never really a survival mode because women took care of each other. And so men want women to be single so that they can suffer and say that you need us. No, men need women, and women need each other. Women do not need men. Y'all want them to need you, but women need each other, because that's where they get all their help from. They don't get it from y'all. And I'm sorry that you want them to need you so bad, but these women who are single, I want them to go back into commune with other women. Y'all don't want that though.
It's profitable for men and women to be split up. So in my opinion, if women depend upon each other so much, a lot of the information that y'all are giving each other is just totally wrong.
Well,
If it,
it hurts y'all. It don't hurt women, because see, it hurts y'all. And I'm gonna be honest. I don't care about how it impacts y'all's ability to access women. I don't really care. So yeah, you can try to flip it and say y'all gonna be hurt. No, baby, these women gonna be living their best life. Y'all the ones that's gonna be hurt. So y'all hurt by not having access to women, not the other way around. And we not listening to the gaslight. Y'all gonna be hurt. Y'all don't care about anything that's going on with women. Y'all talk all the time about we don't care about this, that, and the other. The only time you think you care about them is when you say you're gonna be alone, because really y'all are the ones afraid of being alone. Y'all the ones afraid. Y'all don't care about what women go through. You don't care if her life is easy. You, as a matter of fact, y'all want to make her life hard. Y'all want to see her suffer. This is the why y'all was upset with Russell Wilson, quote unquote, saving Sierra, because y'all wanted to see Sierra suffer. Y'all don't care about women. So I don't want to hear all that. Oh, well, if you telling women the wrong thing. No, I'm telling women stuff that's going to hurt y'all ass. It's going to hurt you. And I don't care.
I mean, if you feel that way, I hate to say that. You know, I mean, I feel sorry for women who feel that way, but that's not the case of a man. A real man is going to be secure with himself, and he's not going to trap women, period. Now, you have to understand, us as men, in our nature, we have to manipulate you for sex, because ultimately that is what we have to do in order to procreate. It's an unconscious thing, but it's things that we do so that we can be able to create what we know as God, as I talked about before. You know what I'm saying? It's confusing, but it's the truth.
No, it ain't confusing.
God is
It
God is consciousness.
No,
So
it ain't. No, baby, let me tell you something. Manipulation to get a nut is not God consciousness, baby. That's survival of the fittest. So I got to manipulate you to get my rocks off, because I'm about to get blue balls and my dick is hard, and I need to. You ain't. If I just say I just want to fuck, you gonna say no. So let me lie to you. Let me tell you everything that you want to hear, so I can get what I want, baby. That ain't no God consciousness. I want you to understand that. And so what I'm saying to you is that I'm teaching women to not fall for your manipulation, because I'm teaching women the male nature, and I'm teaching her to let your sperm congregate in like in bulk and just sit in your ball sack, and you can't do nothing about it until you just start jerking off. And when you jerk off, that's the only release you're gonna get. But I want her to tell you no. That's what I'm saying. I want her to tell you no and mean it.
we can't afford to do that. We can't afford to do that. But you have to understand, some men are genuine with what they say to women, and not all men are looking to sex a woman. We just aren't. There are certain things that women come from on an emotional standpoint, and they give the women wrong information. You have some women out here who are saying get government assistance. That might not be the right thing to do. It becomes a perpetual thing that it can destroy the child by women putting other women in specific type of positions. It's
Look,
a monetary benefit for the
y'all be
mother to
talking
be.
about forget that baby. I don't want nothing to do with that baby if I ain't got nothing to do with the mama. And all of a sudden now we care about the baby because the woman gonna say no. Let your nutsack just get hard and then don't get soft no more. Let's just build up all the sperm, right?
It takes a special kind of man to have a woman with a child. It really does. It takes a very patient man, very tolerant man, because that's something that's very hard to do. Because the last thing a man wants is to hear from a child, "You aren't my daddy." And when you can't discipline the child for being disrespectful, that's very frustrating as well.
Well, listen, it's a lot of frustrating things in life, but I'm really just talking about the manipulation to get the sex. Like, you really stuck me there, brother. You really stuck me there.
We have to, Priscilla,
Right. Because
at the end of the day, that's what, in a way,
I
no offense,
know.
but that's what makes us better than women at times.
Wait a
Because
minute,
we
because
have
you
to.
manipulate and lie?
No. We have to find ways to master who we are as men. Women, here's what y'all are
That
great
ain't
at.
master. That
Y'all,
ain't mastery. That's
women, women are
cunning.
women are great at pushing and motivating a man to actually reach his highest version of himself. That's y'all's job. There's nothing wrong with that. But a man has to always find ways to reinvent, to come up with different ways of being respectful out in the world. Does that make sense?
No, what do make sense is a male realizing that pussy always gonna be there, and that he's gonna create a vision and a goal and a purpose to control his sex drive instead of figuring out ways to try to get sex, right? That's what Ralph Waldo Emerson did. That was what Einstein did, Nikola Tesla, and everybody else that actually created some great stuff in the world. They didn't focus on trying to figure out how to get sexy. See, Pimpin' Ken did that. And right, he used that to get him some money out of the women. Yeah, he did that. Iceberg Slim and all of these low-level dudes, yeah, they did that. But if your plan is to get the lowest level, which is sex, that tells me a lot about the male. That, baby, that ain't no self-mastery, because to self-master means that you have to control your sex drive and retain your semen to elevate you to another level, not trying to find ways to expel it.
Life necessitates sex. It just does. As I told you before, God is consciousness. So you have to be able to, it's an unconscious thing, but our bodies are designed to procreate. I mean, it's just natural. There's nothing, that we can escape that. We're gonna feel how we're gonna feel regardless.
This is why I'm gonna take you to school, and this is why you all suck. And this is
Oh
why
Lord.
I'm
We
sorry.
suck.
Yeah, listen to me. Think and
Go
Grow
ahead.
Rich. Think and
Go
Grow
ahead.
Rich by Napoleon Hill.
Okay.
This is why you all are subpar. The meaning of the word transmute is in simple language, the changing or transferring of one element or form of energy into another. The emotion of sex brings into being a state of mind. Because of ignorance on the subject, this state of mind is generally associated with the physical. And because of improper influences to which most people have been subjected in acquiring knowledge of sex, things essentially physical have highly biased the mind. The emotion of sex has back of it the possibility of three constructive potentialities, and they are: 1, the perpetuation of mankind; 2, the maintenance of health. As a therapeutic agency, it has no equal; and 3, the transformation of mediocrity into genius through transmutation. Sex transmutation is simple and easily explained. It means the switching of the mind from thoughts of physical expression to thoughts of some other nature. Sex desire is the most powerful of human desires. When driven by this desire, men develop keenness of imagination, courage, willpower, persistence, and creative ability unknown to them at other times. So strong and impelling is the desire for sexual contact that men freely run the risk of life and reputation to indulge in it.
Do you know why men?
Let me finish reading, sir,
Go ahead.
because you subjected yourself to mediocrity to focus on manipulating to expel sex.
I'll explain it to you.
I don't need you to explain it to I don't need you to explain it to me, because baby, I am very astute in what I do.
No, it's
right?
more to it than that. That's simple,
Listen,
but it's more to it.
I'm not gonna let you interrupt this. I'm gonna read this whole part right here.
Go ahead,
because-
Priscilla.
Thank you. When harnessed and redirected along other lines, this motivating force maintains all of its attributes and keenness of imagination and courage, which may be used as a powerful creative force in literature, art, or any other profession or calling, including, of course, the accumulation of riches. The transmutation of sex energy calls for the exercise of willpower, to be sure, but the reward is worth the effort. The desire for sexual expression is inborn and natural. The desire cannot and should not be submerged or eliminated, but it should be given an outlet through forms of expression which enrich the body, mind, and spirit of man. If not given this form of outlet through transmutation, it will seek outlets through purely physical channels. A male trying to manipulate to expel his energies through purely physical channels, and then try to manipulate and flip it as God consciousness is somebody I ain't gonna listen to. Now, a river may be dammed and it's controlled for a time, but eventually it will force an outlet. The same is true of the emotion of sex. It may be submerged and controlled for a time, but its very nature causes it to be ever-seeking means of expression. If it is not transmuted into some other creative force or effort, it will find less worthy outlets. And your less worthy outlet is fucking. It's fucking, right? That's your less worthy outlet. Now, I'm not gonna listen to a male who has not achieved some of the greatest things. Tell me what your patent number is, what you have invented. Show me how much money you got in your bank. I need to see your Fortune 500 company. If you do not have these things, I don't want to hear anything else about God consciousness if you're talking about manipulating somebody to get your rocks off. I don't want to hear it.
Here's the thing. The reason why specifically when it deals with sex. Sex is an unconscious thing for men, and men, when we tend to um, do things a specific way, men war. Okay, so because we war, there's something in our body that unconsciously tells us, "Hey, you need to reproduce." It's just as unconscious as your breathing. So because of that, because we war, we have to fight. We have to wrestle with each other. We compete and we sex women. We find ways, sophisticated ways to get women. There's things that we do, and the testosterone only drives that even more. So if you were amped up with testosterone, you're going to constantly crave sex. That's
Sir,
just how
I
it
ain't,
goes.
sir,
But
I've said that throughout the entire show. So I don't know what you think you're teaching me on. Have you listened to the
um,
show?
what I'm telling you is that simple reading that you read from Hill is just the fact
That
that
y'all lack
men war.
willpower.
It
No,
has
you
nothing to do
lack,
with willpower.
sir,
No, no,
you
no, no, no,
lack
no.
willpower to
No, it's not
control,
willpower.
sir, you lack willpower to control your sex urge and channel that energy into
No,
another
Princella,
area.
you have to listen. We could die at any moment. We war against one another. Men do. We could kill each other. You get what I'm saying?
What that got to do? You are not in the
Our
jungle, sir.
body it's an
Sir,
unconscious thing to
sir,
reproduce.
sir. Unconscious means that you're not conscious and you're
No,
not
that's not true. No, 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 no,
sir.
no.
I'm not gonna have a
It's
retarded
something that we
conversation.
aren't cognitive of. Does that make
Sir,
sense? We
I
don't
am
we
not
don't
about to be having a retarded conversation for you to
let me
say
rephrase it. Let me say it's not cognitive. We don't recognize it. For instance, if you're breathing,
that means
right?
you're not
You don't
conscious.
count every time you breathe,
Oh my
right?
God. This
It's
means you're
something
not
that you don't pay
aware.
attention to.
Sir, do you
So when
understand
I'm
what meditation is?
cognitive, I'm using the word cognitive now, since you get what I'm saying. So I'll use the word cognitive. We don't recognize that we're doing it, but it's a
It's
thing that we
voluntary.
do. It's
So
involuntary, right?
So here's the thing. If you are unconsciously being a savage, the only way that a woman can make you cognizant of your fuckery is to stop dealing with you. Then you'll wake up and why the women are not dealing with us? I want your dick to dry up. I'm telling you, because see, ain't no talking to you. I want all that sperm to just coagulate, and I just don't want it to go nowhere. I just want it to sit in your nutsack so you'll wonder why ain't nobody fucking you. Because y'all are unconscious, but I'm gonna make you conscious. I'm gonna make you conscious and aware.
What?
Yeah, I'm gonna make you conscious and aware, goddamn it.
You really believe that? Most women don't focus on things like that. If I told a woman I want to read the Bible with her, she'll put that Bible down and sit on my lap and want to have sex. Most women don't care about stuff like how you're talking about. They
Okay,
just don't.
all right,
It
just yeah,
doesn't interest them.
I
Most
can
women are
hear you.
consumers.
Okay, all
They
right.
care about what they can get. That's why I say a lot of women have Lot's wife syndrome, because it's about they desire the things of the world. They
I
don't
got
care about Nietzsche and Hill and things like that. They just don't.
I just want y'all to hear that he calling y'all elementary and stupid. So make sure if you do want to hear all this, come over to the High
I'm
Power
not saying they're
Podcast.
stupid in elementary. What I'm saying is most of these things don't interest women like men.
They
Men
don't
have to.
they clearly don't
Men, I'm
interest you
telling
either.
you, men, because men war, we're forced to do things in other ways. We're competitive. We debate a lot, things like that, we'll so that we won't kill each other, because we have a lot of testosterone. You got to understand that there's a lot of stuff about men. You got to understand why we do what we do.
Baby, I know everything there is to know about it. I know
Well,
everything. That's why y'all come into a group of women and then divide and conquer them and bring all that toxic ass shit that you do out there into the house. You can't stop it.
Princella,
Right? No.
I have
You
a
said you was
question for you.
no, sir. You said it was unconscious. You said it was involuntary. So you wonder why y'all can't keep relationships because you take that involuntary, unconscious shit that you do out there and then you bring it into a relationship. Oh, wait a minute. Oh, you conscious now? Are you
Men
conscious?
and women do that. Men and
Oh,
women both do that.
no. Hold on, homeboy. Hold on. Back it up there. Back that thing up. Right. Drop it down for the 99 2000. Listen to me. You just said that men are unconscious. We don't know. We don't know. We just do it, you know. And so
Most of us.
I know the most of you.
Me is
Right?
me. I'm different. I do
JR,
understand the
you hear me?
dynamic.
You hear it? It's most of them. Remember, JR, baby. He said we got to manipulate for sex. He said most of us. JR, I know that's why you got that tape over your mouth right now, because Priscilla didn't just pull it out of her ass. Now, he didn't said it, right? And now you're going to come and you're going to take that and you're going to bring it into a relationship. And guess what you're going to do? You're going to destroy the relationship with your unconscious manipulative ways, because it's in your nature. Like I've been
No, that's a man that does
time.
that has trauma.
And you
Priscilla.
too. You too.
No,
You
a man who brings that
said
into a
ways.
relationship is not healed,
But
and
sir,
he
you
mirrors.
just said it was unconscious when you do it.
You see, when you get in these relationships, you're supposed to mirror one another, okay? And if that's what you're mirroring, that means there's past trauma that you haven't healed yet. Where
Sir,
are you single? Are you single,
you ain't-
Princella? Out of
sir,
curiosity,
you ain't healed it because you was unconsciously doing it, right? You said it. So
not me. I'm
sir,
just telling you
you
what a
said
man
you
does.
said, so
A
what, you a
man's
girl
nature.
now?
What a man
Are-
is.
What are you then?
I'm a man, but I'm telling you our nature, because
And
there's
you
certain.
power.
I told you we could kill each other, and that's why polygyny is not going to work either. You would have two men banging you out, and one man's going to kill you because he can't get none from the front. Come on, polygyny is not going to work like that. And we aren't in times of war. We don't need polygamy or polygyny.
When
A
I
lot of
said
people on this
polygyny,
earth.
when I said polygyny, I was talking about a group of women taking a dude and passing his ass around, right? Yeah, that's right. Make you lick that pussy everybody, and then you can have sex with everybody, and then you can go get your ass on somewhere else,
I
right?
thought polygyny was more like one woman and more men.
No, polygyny was more women and a few men, and I'm pushing polygyny, right? A group of women.
That's not a good idea, Priscilla.
Why not? Men been pushing for
Physiologically, women carry a child for 9 months.
Sir, I
It's not a
said
good idea.
a bunch of women with one man, but you don't control those women. Those women control you.
That's polygamy. That's polygamy.
That's polygyny. Polygamy is more than one spouse. Polygyny is more than one wife. Polyandry is more than one husband. God damn it! Now you got to know what you talk about if you're gonna come up here and talk to Priscilla. Now I'm telling you, I said polygyny, right?
Okay, cool. Go ahead.
And a bunch of women passing you around, right? No, you don't get to take selfies on Instagram and say, JR, look at all my wives. No, they're going to take a picture and say, look at how we passing this hot cake around, right? You gonna be the hoe, right? That's how that go, right? And then you can you can take a picture and say, these are all my women, but bro, you ain't running nothing. You ain't running nothing in that community. I'm just telling you.
Oh Lord, that's not a good idea.
I know, because y'all don't like the power of a woman, but I'm taking it all away from you.
It's not that, Priscilla. It's not that. Men are the ones who are supposed to protect and provide.
Need you to land that plane, Lee.
Yeah, I was about to say,
no, I'm good. I'm just saying that's
Yeah.
JR is about to fall asleep.
Nah, dude, I mean it's 12:30. If you're on the East Coast, it's 12:30 over here. I know it's getting late in Texas right now.
Yeah,
where Princella's at, good. I'll be trying to keep it short with Princella. Like I told her last time, I think we was on here about 3 hours last time, man. I'm just like, bruh. Anyway, but beautiful. We got 230. We got almost 240 people in here, man. Shout out to everybody. Great discourse, Lee. I appreciate you calling in back to back. You know what I'm saying? And I see where you coming from, brother. You know what I'm saying? But we gonna chop it up next time.
Most definitely.
Have a good night out there in Grand Prairie.
All right. Good night, JR and Princella.
Good night.
Later.
I have questions for you next time, Princella.
Okay.
All right.
All right, later. Yeah, so hey, get him out of here. So yeah, shout out to him. I know we talked about communication. A lot of people had some stuff to offer tonight. I just wanted to end off of basically my thoughts, and I'm gonna get your thoughts on communication overall. What I learned basically from communication, and how to effectively communicate with a woman, for the fellas that's listening, is you have to let a woman talk. You know what I'm saying? And as you said, Princella, that active listening is a real thing, obviously. Mm-hmm. You have to let a woman talk instead of just trying to cut her off, or basically have her get everything out. Because as you said, the communal part of it, and women are the social species, women do talk out their issues as opposed to men. A lot of times they stew. They go into their man cave, for lack of a better term, or they go into solitude and try to work their issues out. But women are more communal, as you said. In my estimation, they're more communal. They like to talk their issues out with other women and things like that. So if you're to be that ultimate partner, or you want to be her partner, you need to be actively listening when she tells you she has an issue. You don't need to jump to try and fix the issue. If just because she's telling you she has an issue doesn't mean you need to fix it for her unless she asks you. And that's how some guys mess up, in my estimation, because they try to fix a woman's problem when she didn't even ask you. She just wants somebody to listen to her. You know what I mean? So when you listen to her and you make sure she gets everything out that she's trying to say, instead of cutting her short, and you just keep asking her and understanding what it is, and know that she, be that person that she knows that you're listening, instead of just being like, you're hearing. So I think that that's one of the most effective things as a man that you can do for a woman, and it goes a long way. And once she feels like she's got all that out, she's all yours. She's in the palm of your hand, player. But that's just my thoughts on it. What's your thoughts on that, Princella?
Oh man, I totally agree with that. Active listening it's a art. It's an art. Leadership is an art. Listening is an art. Communication is an art. This stuff is not natural. This stuff requires self-discipline.
Right.
And if you're dealing with people who don't want to discipline themselves, which requires willpower, if they can't do that, then what you're wasting your time. So and going back and forth. So the art of leadership and listening and communication requires self-control and discipline. And that has to be a cognizant decision that a person makes. In understanding how humans work, the majority of males will never flex that type of discipline and self-control that's needed to listen or communicate. They just not.
Interesting take. Say less.
Mm-hmm.
Understood. So with that being said, I hope we've been rapping with y'all for a good time. Pastor People's in the building for sure. Y'all already know, bringing the gospel with fire and brimstone.
Mm-hmm.
You may be accustomed to. If not, you see what it is. This is a dope one tonight. We had a lot of people in the building on this beautiful Tuesday night. Like I said, like the video, subscribe to the channel, subscribe to Princella's channel, follow her on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and you guys see her website scrolling through the bottom. Shoot her a Cash App if you liked everything or anything that she said that was helpful or beneficial to you tonight, and share with your cousins, sisters, daughters, mothers, grandmothers, any of the ladies or fellas that you feel like it'll be a benefit of. So any final words, Princella, before we get up out of here?
Nothing but thank you for reaching back out to me and bringing me back over here. It's a pleasure.
God willing. Yeah. For those of you watching, me and Princella, I was talking to her offline. We're going to be covering a topic I meant to talk about earlier, which was basically, we kind of addressed it here, but it's going to be in its entirety in the future. Date to be determined, obviously, about men, the concept or the idea of women feeling that sometimes when they're in a relationship with men, that they become used up, or she's basically preparing him for the next woman.
Mm-hmm.
Being used up. So I think that that's an important topic that we're definitely going to discuss. We appreciate you guys tuning in. Like I said, I'll have it, and I'm pretty sure Princella will put it up as well when we do talk about it. But you guys have been dope. You guys have been awesome. Like I said, this isn't about arguing. This is about having a discourse meaningfully, and arguing to answer your. I know I asked you the question earlier, but I think that you can definitely carry on a relationship as well without arguing. You know what I mean? So
I do, under those conditions of you operating on the frequency of love.
Frequency. Yeah, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
So with that being said, much blessings and abundance. So I appreciate you guys for tuning in. And with that being said, you guys have a good night. Shout out to you, and we are out of here.
Peace.
There we go. Same time.